over the course of 10, 20 laps, and you can see a driver pulling away. So we'll be keeping an eye on that 75 tonight. But right now, we're on board with the number 9 machine. We know he's got speed. He's that driver that's out there under controller. The one we talk about, he's able to do it every week, though, coming to the stripe. See if he's able to move up. But look at that, Chris Stitz going up into second place.
But then once again, blink of an eye, Gavin Rogers steals it right on back. And almost again, a full 10 faster than the next driver, Chris Stitz, who just put down that fast time. But for the 9 that you were just talking about in the prime machine of Shane Terry, and that was just his first lap that he put down, 5th fastest currently on the board. But Larry Yingling steals back that top spot as the 67 is going to be 1/10 faster than Gavin Rogers. I think if anything, this track is cooling off and cooling off quickly. Those drivers that waited until the very end to put down their qualifying times, they might steal the top spots here late as the track temp 125 degrees. It's been flirting up to 135 at its highest during practice. This is the lowest that the track has been on that track temp, which is giving these very quick times and might be shockers of who can be up that top spot. But with all the drivers that are finishing up qualifying, Larry Yingling looks to be the driver to take the pole.
And it looks like he's definitely going to do it. 14 seconds ago, not sure if we're going to get all these drivers back to the line to get those laps to count. Just not there. As you see right there, the 72 getting a little loose coming out of the corner. We'll be talking about that as this track temperature is still hot. Did come down a little bit, like you said. But these drivers probably hoping for some cloud cover right now as we're under 5 seconds to go for qualifying.
As time is clicking away, all drivers are off track.
That bad. Jesus
it's going to
Christ.
be Larry Yingling, a part of that Yin Yang Racing team, taking his 2nd pole of the season. Congratulations to the 67 team on that fast lap, getting the timing perfect. As now the field will be sent into a 5-minute warm-up period. If you need any little bit of last practice time and also to figure out where your pit stalls are, the drivers are given these 5 minutes to figure out any last little details before we get ready for tonight's race. But it also gives us time to take a look at some of the cool stats that are coming into this race, taking a look at our standings. This is race 9 of the season. This season we've got 12 races throughout the regular season before we have the playoffs where 16 drivers will race for a championship, and this is what the point standings look like entering tonight after just 8 races being completed. It's Vincent Sora top of the board by 13 points over Zach Hall. Also Larry Yingling is close. Ryan Kelly, our winner from last week, going to be in 4th, but it's the cutoff line. It's between the teammates of Lucky Ducks. Drew Jua slotting himself into 16th position, and Douglas Newbigging, who's been dealing with the suspensions, he's now fallen outside of our top 16.
Suspension not helping Douglas Newbigging at all. You have to think back to Michigan when he was so fast and just did not get that win that night. That could have maybe have changed everything, having that win, make him feel a lot safer getting into the top 16 with the win, but unfortunately did not get it that night. But look at some of these other drivers on that right side of the screen, people that we know have speed. We've got drivers that we talk about often throughout the week, just not able to get the wins yet, get themselves locked in. But I mean, you get a win tonight, we talk about it all the time. It gets you into that playoff, and then you got to keep advancing, get to that final race and have a chance and get yourself a trophy, championship, and get yourself locked into that season 9 memory.
Yeah, season 9, it certainly has been a memorable one overall. But again, if you get a win, you have to make sure you're inside the top 25 in points. They make that win eligible to automatically lock you into the playoffs. As you take a look at what the schedule has been like this season, it's been dominated by a few drivers early on. We had Cedric Hunter grabbing his win at Atlanta Motor Speedways, that super speedway style course, and then it was the dominance of Vincent Sora, Gavin Rogers, with mixes of different drivers. We had the Mike Tellier win at the Daytona Oval, Zach Hall grabbing it at the Daytona Road Course, Ryan Kelly, who we've seen quit these past few seasons, he's finally in the win column. But we still have ourselves here tonight in 3 more races before the playoffs. I think I'm excited for it. Indy, Chicagoland, Le Mans, and Bristol to finish out the regular season. This is certainly a different schedule than what most other leagues will run, but certainly a schedule that still enables a lot of drivers to fight back to make the top 16.
Very diverse schedule. I'm actually really enjoying the schedule this year, just being on some of these tracks that doing that the Rolex style race at the Daytona with the infield road course. That was really super exciting. I like the format, how they had
you don't even get this like NIS is
that was a great treat for all the viewers. I'm excited that they're using Chicagoland. I would love to see NASCAR get these next gen cars on Chicagoland. I think that car and the track is built for these types of cars. I think we'll put on a
Boy,
great
I
show. I
expected
can't wait to
somebody
see what
to
these
start
drivers
the
are able
race.
to do at that race. But right now we'll be at Indy tonight here. We got a minute still left in that warm-ups. I think it'll be a pretty good race here tonight. I think strategy is going to be really exciting to watch. I think these drivers who figure out that strategy and are able to keep themselves up front consistently, they're going to come down and have that chance.
Yeah, strategy is going to be a big thing to watch out. And speaking about watching out, here's some of the drivers we're thinking about watching out that might have a chance to win. Going to start off with my pick on who I've got a feeling of a driver to watch out for, and it's going to be Zach Hall. Kind of when I made this pick, I forgot about the penalty. I know Zach is just very consistent when it comes to Indy. It's a track that he loves and adores. I think here tonight might be the driver. Instead of watching to win, watch out how he climbs through the field, and if it's even able to see this 32 do so, or is passing too difficult, that's going to be a tough task to watch out for. But Justin, who's your driver to watch out for tonight's race?
Well, I went Larry Yingling. I think, as I was saying at the top of the show, not to sound too repetitive, but I just think he's one of those smart drivers who's not going to get himself in trouble. He's going to understand maybe someone might get underneath him and pass him here and there early in the race. He's going to keep himself in that top 5. He's going to battle. He's not going to make crucial mistakes. I'm not expecting to see any kind of bad penalties out of him on pit road or anything that are going to cycle him to the back. I think he's going to get it done tonight.
And our final pick from our producer, Robert Moyer Jr., he's saying watch out for Aaron Smith II. He's been in the top 3 of practice and also looked very quick during qualifying. The 70 machine from Lucky Ducks might be the driver to watch out for. Might be able to get that win that Lucky Ducks has been searching for this season. Well, that's our picks. Warm-ups are done. And it's about to be time for racing action here this evening for the Indianapolis 250 for race number 9 for season 9 of the WSSR Cup Series. Thank you once again for joining with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you haven't already, please hit that like button if you're going to be enjoying the show. Comment who's the driver you're watching out for. Who are you excited to see run?
All right,
or
here we go.
Maybe some drivers you're wondering, will they have a better race here this evening than what they've had so far? But for the field, let's take a look at our starting grid. 39 drivers look to be trying to take the green here this evening. And taking the pole for the 2nd time this season, it's the 67 of Larry Yingling. He's been fast. He's been the pole 4 times this season. He wasn't able to get number 5 here tonight. Starting on the outside of row number 1 is Gavin Rogers. Talking about Lucky Ducks, well, we've got the 71 of Edward Sherwood Jr. and the 71 in 3rd, with Chris Stitz in 4th. Brian Noel trying to come off a tough week last week at Dover will start in 5th. Robert Moyer Jr.'s pick of the 70 variants for the 2nd will start in 6th. Ryan Kelly, our winner from last week, starts in 7th. Shane Tarian 8th. 9th is Ken Campbell. And finishing out our top 10, we find the 13 of Cedric Hunter.
Going off in P11. Just got to get here to the next page right here. Perfect. Nick Crawford, P11. Zach Hall, P12, but like you said, going to be dropping to the end of the field. Brian P. Johnston in 13th. Danny Cochran in 14th. Vincent Sora rolling off in 15th. Will be fun to watch him. And Tom Senchak showed some great speed last week at Dover, rolling off in 16th. Bronson Stafford in the 17th, and 18th going to be Jared Hughes. 19th going to be Anthony Gaudio and Joshua Canada alongside him in 20th position.
21st, we find the 11 of John Forbes Jr. In 22nd position, it's the 56 of Richard Wolsifer.
Would the
In 23rd, we find the 8 of Ryan
AOL, please?
24th, it's the 06 of Tom Bourne. In 25th spot, it's the 46 of Trenton Jump. Matthew Rodriguez will be starting back in 26th position. Cody Reed, who feels like he's got a strong chance.
Would you mind if I
trying to go, start back in 27th position. GT Rosari will start back in 28th.
What happened?
29th is Red Ferraro and Drew Juas. Shocking and surprisingly, he'll start only back in 30th position.
31st, Ollie Fonseca in number 24 machine, alongside Carl Pooler, starting 32nd in the 58, Dakota Moniz in 33rd, and Tyler Dengler in 34th position. Going off in 35th, going to be Christopher Wade, Mike Tellier in 36th, 37th, Justin Forbes, Christopher Norris, no qualifying time in 38th, and in the 39th and final position, Matt Muir in number 72 machine, who we were riding on board. He went out there and the transmitter side, he got back to the line in time to get that lap to count.
Yeah, and also I think you had already
Can the 68 get an EOL
start in the back. It's mentioned practice time, like during qualifying as the drivers are peeling off and getting ready for tonight's race. 100 laps in total, but I want to take another look at the weather if we can. Again, it's going to be a big talking point of tonight. Heard a lot of drivers throughout the week. They were practicing in conditions where the weather was around 93.
I had to get him to spot for me, so
here
I'll get another
tonight,
suspension.
starting the race off 124 degrees. The wind is up to 7 miles per hour heading north. And those are going to be the two big factors to talk about. How does the wind change? Because it looks like on the weather that we're given, the direction will stay neutral, but it's how fast it's blowing that could affect this race. And then also, what is the track going to be at track temp? A lot of information we'll try to keep up with, but up front, Larry Yingling, the 3-time champion of the WSSR Cup Series, champion of season 2, 3, and 7, is trying to find himself into victory lane once again. Excuse me, that was season 6 that he was champion for.
Yeah.
We'll hope to maybe place himself in a position to try to hoist his 4th ever championship in this series. It's been quiet. He's been inside the top 10 for most of this season. It's not quiet though. It's been Gavin Rogers, Edward Sherwood Jr. Those two drivers are still trying to be up front, be confident in their abilities to get up front, put some wicked speed down. Before the field, Justin, any final thoughts before we start these drivers out to go green?
Well, it's going to be a great race here tonight. I'm excited for that guy in 4th position up there, Chris Ditz.
And we're getting ass packed already. Already got ass packed. Let's go.
Starts here up there with those two, 67 and 75. But here we go. We're going green.
Into the restart zone. Drivers further on back trying to slot themselves in
this
position
just
to
did
get
not
ready.
go.
But up front, green flag is in the air. It's time to go racing for 100 laps here tonight. Stage break at the end of lap 20, so it can be a quick one here for these drivers. Got to make sure you're inside of the top 10 quickly. But on the initial start, turn 1, everyone side by side all the way through, and it's Gavin Rogers trying to march on the outside group, take the lead off the exit of turn 2. They stay side by side. Give it a little bit of deja vu with Dover last week as they fight side by side, even down the backstretch.
Down the backstretch, they're going to stay 2 by 2. That's going to give a lot of draft to that 71 behind. Is he going to be able to pull out and make a move? Does not look like he's going to at that moment early in this race, but definitely something to keep an eye on. The 67 going to try and get it down below that line, but the 75 staying really good on that outside line. You're going to head right here into turns 3 and 4. Going to have to make sure to get that nice run down the straightaway, but right now, is the 67 going to have any draft help? The 71's going to go high. It looks like this could hurt the 67.
They don't want to give the help to the 3-time champ, and it's going to give lap number 1 to Gavin Rogers. The bonus point goes to the 75, and your pole sitter still continues to fight on the inside groove. And for Gavin Rogers, that outside row not going to be comfortable later on in this race, but showing new tires. It works up there. Staying side by side still to this point. Justin, this is incredible racing.
It is, but you have to think. I think might have been these two exact drivers, or I know Larry Yingling. I remember Michigan, Sam. Remember how hard he pushed at that race, kind of in the beginning, and then they started fading really
hard on the brakes there. That's okay.
Laps in. Got to be cautious of that right now. I know they have that competition caution at lap 20, but so they could go hard. But later on in this race, you pay that price if you push as hard as they are right now. These two drivers have to be squeezing those tires, I would imagine.
They are pushing everything to the max on who's going to have the better run. And once again, Gavin Rogers going to be getting wrapped up on the outside. Still not completely clear of Yingling. Yingling's going to pull and plunges Edward Sherwood Jr. Now the lead is fully set for Gavin Rogers as he pulls along in fastest lap. Give it to the 3, Brian Kelly, who runs in 6th place. But Rogers, all that work on the outside, he'll be rewarded with the lead. But again, what will the tires look like in the next 3 to 4 laps?
Oh, nice save there, bud.
If you over-abuse these tires, they can hurt you greatly with the speeds that these drivers are climbing up to. You can see the difference of drivers picking and choosing drafting partners on the straightaway as well. As down into the corners, they're going from up to 192 miles per hour down to 150 through turn 3.
And as we ride on board, one thing you're going to hear, and maybe not hear, is shifting. Some drivers choosing to utilize shifting, some will not be shifting. It's going to be a strategy plan of drivers, but right here, Aaron Smith trying to complete the pass. Still there. Chris Ditz, you see right back, does not have anyone right there behind pushing, so he's going to have to try and rely on getting through this corner better. Is he going to be able to do it? Gets down to the
freaking gaggle back here.
Not all the way below that line. 17 right to the outside. They're coming out side by side still, not able to make that pass.
This is the battle for 6th position. Aaron Smith second in the yellow, having Chris Ditz to his outside, finally able to clear. So you see the battle markers as they fight their way forward. It's going to be close on who can keep these positionings, but Chris Stentz will have help and assistance now as he has his teammate of 15, Ken Campbell, right behind him. And tonight's race, a little bit of a special one. Some drivers are going with throwback schemes. Officially on the schedule, there were throwback schemes given out to the field. One of those that decided to bring out a throwback scheme, the 13 Cedric Hunter, who's running a
Rewind.
for his father.
I was gonna say.
That is very similar to his father's 1990 Narrow Sea 848. His father built back in 2003 and a very clean blue, so different from his Hello Kitty pink that Cedric usually runs week in and week out. But you love it when it's throwback night.
There's cluster in front of us.
Take the chance to bring out some classy schemes for themselves.
It's always nice to see different paint schemes, and like you said, definitely have to get interested on getting used to seeing the blue and white, which looks fantastic.
Yeah, checked out how to be.
The white with the pink on the sides from the Hello Kitty. Always the 13. Always see that.
Ah, fuck. Zach is peeking to my inside at the same time.
Has the special Hello Kitty paint scheme. As you go right here. Look at his battle here, back in 14th, 15th, 16th position. These guys are not being afraid to race side by side. Still lap 5. Still not wanting to get single file. You see that getting a little loose right there, though. That's the problem. Staying down low, getting loose coming out of the corner. And that's going to break that momentum down this straightaway. You see now 2, 3, potentially 4 cars getting by.
And Drew Jua, once again, not having the right scheme on. 13 on screen here is actually the 77 on our ticker of Drew Jua. So, unfortunately, he decided to pick the wrong scheme for tonight's race. But, drivers continue to race out this battle.
We're under caution.
A couple of other drivers to see behind. Also, have escapes. Oh no! Contact with Drew. Wrecking behind. More drivers spun around. Ollie Fonseca got turned, and more drivers continue to fall. Excuse me, it was GT Rozzari that got turned around. And our first wrecking caution on lap number 6. This was a worry, and this is when it can be critical. Do drivers now pit for tires?
Wow. I mean, first with your question on pitting for tires, you can get 5 sets, but I mean, it's so early in this race. You're going to see this replay right here. See exactly what happened right here. This is going to be the 14, so the accident's going to happen a little bit further ahead, but the 14 definitely gets turned.
Is this a net code? Because it looked bizarre at the time of coming up. No, there's the contact. Then the 13 tries to save it. Then Richard Wolsifer gets into GT Rozzari. Rozzari gets hard contact on the inside wall. For the 77 of Drew Jua, he just locks it down the outside. I believe it's just those 2 incidences of vehicles that were caught up in this. Everyone else able to avoid that wreck. But right on board with the 14, here's his point of view. The driver's loose, so there's a wreck, slowing down, and now he's involved. Spun into the inside wall.
That was heavy impact. I know it's not really showing the damage, but I would imagine that's some.
Trying to get a field.
I would think that's some suspension-related damage. Hopefully, he's able to get it fixed, but heavy impact for him.
A heavy impact indeed. Luckily, there is no required damage given out to either driver of Drew Jua or GT Rozzari. They'll continue to race on. And with this caution on lap number 6, again, brought up the question also of seeing the wreck. This comes in such a critical time because it's right around that halfway zone before the stage is over. Do you pit for tires here or stay out? Some drivers were still running pretty fast times compared to what they were running before. We'll see if there's any little bit of gamemanship, and it looks like a lot of faking. No one really wanted to take the chance into pit road. So it looks like staying out is the call for at least the first half of the drivers.
Precautions again.
The reason why you want to pit is that the field does only have 4 sets of extra tires in pit road for tonight's race. There's still a lot of racing action here tonight, so taking a set this early on could hurt you later, but also, like I said, the times that drivers were putting down, they were pretty similar to some of their fastest laps. They weren't too off of what their true speed are.
Yeah, I raced here over the weekend, and I personally seemed like it was around like lap 7 or 8 when the tires stopped giving me like the fast lap times. I mean, we were only here on lap 6. Now we're going to cool them off, so we can probably get another 2 or 3 good solid laps out of them. And then it's not like they drop off fast. They drop off. But with the draft here, it was more important to be up there and have someone on the straightaway. Even sometimes being by yourself on new tires, you maybe weren't running as fast as someone on 5-lap tires who at least had a car in front of them just to utilize that draft. That's what I got out of it, so I'm thinking maybe these drivers are also thinking that too right now. They don't want to give up the track position, but as you said, Sam, they also don't want to use that 1 set of tires.
and some drivers that did make the decision to enter pit road. Tyler Dangler coming into pit road to get a little bit of service done of fuel only and a little bit of damage repair for the 19. Bronson Stafford,
So that wreck
though,
was the 14 and the
tires,
77,
like,
I think?
61. So that
I don't know how much damage either one of those cars got. But
taking a set of tires and the only driver to do so. So this is going to be a good marker of how well it can be with the 61, trying to make his way forward. Again, he did have to start in the back, so maybe looking for a slight advantage to move forward. Other driver that had to start in the back, Zach Hall, he was only
Might be my
up
headset,
10
but I don't want to turn it up too
from
much
where
louder
he
'cause I'm in
started
Discord
tonight's
with my
race. Up
teammates.
to
We're under
28,
caution.
so it
It's
is
closed.
difficult to make passes, which, Justin, we kind of had a feeling that was going to be the case here tonight. We even saw it up front. It was very hard to make even just one pass for the lead.
dude, every
Well, he
restart's
got
gonna be
10
so
cars
nuts.
and 8 laps, so if he's able to stay with that model,
I know.
we should
I'm
see
just
him
gonna
in
I'll
top
try to
10
talk
my
about
soon.
time.
But as it gets closer to the front, we always say it's harder and harder to make those passes. And I would imagine 2 of those spots were related to the accident.
Be
So
restarting on the inside.
really,
here,
probably
29.
only 6
There's a
cars
caution
that he
on
passed
lap
under
20.
green flag conditions. He's gonna have to
Okay,
pick that up though
Dakota,
to get
get
into
ready.
that top
Race
10.
will resume at the end of this
Eventually that
lap.
top
Let's
5
go.
if he wants to try and battle for that win later in this race. But it will be exciting to watch him get up there. As it looks like the pace lights are out, so I'm thinking we're gonna be
It's
lining
cool to
up
see
there and getting
all of
ready
those
back to
numbers on
racing
that
here,
scoring
coming
pylon
through
build
the
up though.
next time by.
When those lights go off, that is the indication to the field we are going this time. Also, other throwback schemes of note that we can point
Hey,
out.
we're all
that
lined
are
up with each
front.
other. Nice.
Gavin Rogers,
Hey,
you know, going with the Intimidator look for the 75.
I tried to hold
He
Zach
was
off
going
there. It
for
was
a
just
Dale
too
Senior,
much.
throwback scheme for himself.
Did he not qualify?
And also having his twist.
He
of Sundance
did, but he
Pizza.
had a
His
penalty, I
family
guess.
owns the Arizona area, and one of those schemes that you
Try to
always
follow
love
him.
to see when drivers bring out. You know, they've got a throwback scheme that they want to go
He was
to,
in my
kinda
stream
have a
last
base,
night,
but then also
watching
bring their own
our-
little
watching our
twist to
Nora
their
race.
schemes when it comes to racing.
Nice.
He's got the little 3 up there on the back
Wasn't too bad of a race.
on the side.
I mean, I enjoyed it until I ran out of gas at the end.
And I like that it's also the Ford
I'll test
Mustang,
with Tom.
which just makes it a little
He
bit
was
more of a
fucking
twist
mad.
on there. Well, holy
He was like,
smokes,
"I'm not
see that?
fucking coming
Actually,
back."
Mustangs up there in the front row, so the Ford fans have
I think
to
he'll
be
be
happy
back,
right now
but-
that are watching.
Yeah, that
it's
was
fun. I think
that's
that's the one
horse
thing that's
shit.
interesting.
Yeah,
with
no,
iRacing is
I
that
don't
it's
blame him for being mad. I
preference
mean,
pick for
shit,
some
I'd be
drivers.
mad
Some
too. I'd be
teams,
mad as
you
fuck.
strictly
Dude,
have to
he
run
was like
with
in
the
turn 1
manufacturer
at that point.
The team owner enjoys the most.
Yeah, that was
but
pretty wild.
Most drivers, they pick whatever manufacturer they personally feel connected with. And a lot of Fords out there. And we have a couple of Toyotas, and of course Chevy is usually the most popular of all manufacturers when it comes to racing. But up front, it is the Fords of Gavin Rogers, Larry Yingling. And
Try it again here.
Some of the battling before the caution. Larry Yingling did
Rack
make the
'em
pass
up.
for the lead, so the 67 will be the control vehicle for this restart. So we'll see how Larry can time this restart and try to give clearance as we get ready to go green. Pace car makes the hard
Green,
left-hander
green,
to
let's
pit
go.
road. We wait for them to enter that blue restart zone, as it is time for our drivers
Car
of the
outside.
Indy 250 to get back underway against stage
your line.
yellow at the end of lap 20.
Hold
So
your
we
line.
got 11 laps to go before stage yellow is
Still
thrown.
there.
Yingling is up front. Now it's the battle
Hold
for
your
second
line.
as Edward Sherwood Jr. is trying to hit the advantage
Still
to
there.
get by Gavin Rogers.
At a 67, I tell you, he learned everything from that restart. He does not want to even give anyone a chance to be on his outside. He's going to put the 2 guys behind him side by side, and he's going to pull away. Right now, will he give some draft to both of these cars and try and keep them side by side even longer? This way he can ensure himself a good chance to win that stage. As you see, and kind of duck down a little bit there. Put some air on the 71 and the 75, trying to keep them side by side. Don't look
Did
too
I hear
long
that
at
I was
Ryan Noel machine.
here
He's
4
going to
wide?
have a big run coming out of this corner with these guys side by
Yes,
side.
you are.
But as I say that, they do decide to settle in. But the
Gotta get all you can.
peak under the 71 coming out of the corner. Is he going to have the momentum?
It's lucky Doc's going to be in
We're 4
line
wide
from
from
3rd,
35th.
4th, and
car
5th.
inside.
That's going to be Edward Sherwood Jr. We run on around, trying to wow.
Still there.
And then also it's Aaron Smith, the second,
Hold your
going to be
line.
in 5th place. The 4th of this team,
Still
Drew
there.
Jua back in 36th position. He's got a lot of work
Clear
to
on the
climb
inside.
back after being involved with our first wreck of the night back on lap 6. And now it's all drivers in line. The side-by-side racing kind of cooled off. But like you said before, Justin, tires to kind of fall off after 7 laps of green flag racing. We made it to 6 before that yellow. We might only have just 2 laps before we really see the difference of those that were pushing early and those that are waiting for this time to shine.
That time to shine is going to be probably right now, because we only got about 8.5 more laps before the stage caution is going to come out. And so these drivers, the tire they have, they know they're taking them off at stage 20. Everyone's going to be taking those tires off. So guys duck out here. Looks like Aaron Smith's going to try and get around that Brian Well machine. That's a reverse side-by-side battle. But as you look throughout this field, Sam, you can see guys really can get a little racy on the straightaways, but then they can't make the pass. They try and get back in line. They don't want to risk getting stuck on that inside line and getting freight trained.
The driver that's given up the most in positions here early on. Given up 4 positions where he started at 8th, now outside of the top 10. And if he wants to stay points, he's going to have to make a pass here. Johnson, Sora, Hunter, those drivers not looking to try to be an easy pass just yet. But Vincent Sora, one of our biggest movers so far here early on, up 6 positions. And this race
front is
Rodriguez. Right on board with the 9 machine. Shane Terry noted it on it during qualifying. A controller racer. And you can see those hands twitching as they exit out of the corner, trying to stay stable. And it is very claustrophobic at this moment between these 3 drivers of Johnson, Hunter, and Terry as they get ready to cycle their way down into turn 1 once again.
It's so very challenging. As you saw in the dirty air in these corners, the car just
you're in it, aren't you?
Sometimes just loses the front end.
Yeah, I'm
especially when you got 2 cars running side by side, so close to me.
Trouble. Huge
That was nice
collision
when just
further
parked
on
the
back
bus
in the
in front of me.
30th position. Multiple drivers involved, and it's going to be
I
Christopher
kissed the wall
Norris,
trying to
Matthew
dodge that.
Rodriguez, as well, Ryan Ferraro and Richard
That was
Wolford.
nice of him to park the bus right in front of me.
Caught up in a wreck.
I had nowhere to go.
First spot getting through turn 1 to 2.
Yeah, I saw the smoke. I'm gonna go and check it out.
Alright, man.
You can see them go
Later, brother.
try to set up passes ahead.
I can understand
wide
that
here.
too much.
As they go down to turn number 1, Richard Wolford, Joshua Kanata,
My bad for the guys
Norris
who
gets right
hit
into
me.
the loose
I try to lock it down.
56 machine, but they drift back up into the field and nowhere to go for Ferraro or Rodriguez.
No, that's exactly what happened there. He saw the 56 get that little loose, and when he did, kind of broke that momentum, and unfortunately the driver behind him had nowhere really to go, and both of them sliding across the track kind of blocked the field there.
Alright, did you get through it?
Cars.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh.
I mean, I kissed the wall, but like...
Just simple
I don't know what
mistakes
happened up
hurt
there.
everyone out here, and there's nowhere to go. He just sells smoke for Ryan Ferraro and Rodriguez.
I about
the 2
wrecked
drivers
the
drifted back up
dude
into the
in front of
field.
me
Everyone
going
else
turn
able to
1 before
avoid.
they even wrecked up in front of us.
Sadly, Ryan Ferraro will be our first victim of tonight with a
Yeah, I don't know what
DNF,
happened
as
either.
the 34 is out of the race, leaving us with a total of 38 still out on course. A few might decide to make a pit stop here, but
Man, we're gonna have like a
we're going to be in that shootout
1-2
window.
lap shootout, huh?
Justin, we're going to
Something like
just
that,
have
probably.
about, I believe, 3 to 4 laps to
Yes.
go before we
Pits
the
are
stage
open.
yellow is thrown once again, which this means it's either the stage yellow that's going to bring out our end of the stage or a caution flag of a wreck that could end our stage.
So right now, what I'm thinking is if I'm not in the top 5 to 10 positions
You're good.
where you can get the stage points and be on that strategy, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to go in and get my
Slowly
tires
or-
right
I
now.
can
and
hear
I
you
don't mind
perfectly
putting
fine.
Moving
a
away to the
lap,
field
2
here.
laps on them, and getting it. Then when these drivers pit, you're going to cycle to the lead. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that would be a
It
great
would be
strategy
interesting
for
to
someone
come down
not
here
inside
and
that
pit.
top 10.
Inside the top 5, how about that? Brian Noel comes into pit road.
I'm liking that call, Sam. He's going to cycle to the front because all the drivers, now you see, look at the cars
There's
going behind
that
him. So he's going to have a
caution
nice
lap
cushion
20,
of guys
so I don't
behind him
see
on the
the
same
reason to pit
strategy,
here.
which means when Larry Yingling and Gavin Rogers and the
Pace
71,
cars out.
70,
track
they all
position
pit,
at the
they're
stage.
going to be behind about 15 cars. So Brian Noel potentially could be the leader of this race as long as he's able to keep it clean on these restarts.
It's going to be Brian
It's just
Noel, Nick
super tight on
Crawford,
entry,
Brian P.
dude.
Johnson, going to be the front runners that are instead of our top 15 deciding to pit. Then from 20th back to around 30th, drivers will decide to pit. From Jared Hughes all the way
About the
back to
temperature we
Mike
were racing
Tellier,
in last night.
deciding to make a pit stop.
Dude, I
So
just got stuck on the
kinda
bottom,
shocking
and
to
I
see.
just
I
kept
was not
losing
expecting
spot
to
after
see
spot
Noel
after
The
spot.
track
Like,
make a
temperature
I
stop
was-
of
decreases.
anyone
It's
up
now
front because he was with the
There's
streets
nothing I could
inside the
do.
top 5. It was going to be a good points day for that 07, and instead
Yeah,
gives
it's
up the
fucking
stage
rough.
points and wants to set up for the race at the end.
Like, I
That's
really
always
thought
a
the
gutsy
bottom was the
call,
preferred lane,
because
but
we
it
know
sure as fuck didn't
stage
feel like it.
points and little points here or there, they can add
You
up.
really got to complete the
when it comes
pass.
to the end of this regular season,
Before
you
that
get to the
place that
turn,
you're
you're
in
gonna pass
or
on the
out
bottom.
of the playoffs.
Every single person
Well, it
behind me
definitely
is a
is.
single file, so
It could be one of those things where you can go back and look and
I
they
got
gave
in
up a couple
line.
stage points. What
I
if he
found a
gets that
hole there,
win,
and I
Sam?
thought, okay, I'll be good.
That
And then
might be
Zach
the
missed the
thing that
corner, so I had
keeps
no
him having
choice
to
but
worry
to
for
send
the
it
rest of the
underneath of him.
season.
Yeah,
He's
see, that's what
gonna
sucks is
definitely
if
have
if the
track
person in
position
front of
now.
you
We
misses
know
the
he had a
corner
great
and
qualifying
causes
speed,
you
so
to
we
like
know he's
screw
got
up a
that
little
single
bit,
car run
yeah,
speed. Maybe he's thinking, if I could just get that clean air, I know I
fucks you
can
over.
hold these guys off if I need to for the rest of this race. If I could beat a command car.
Maybe it's a decision that's
Been a
just
long
like,
time.
okay,
Caution.
let's set
It's
up
closed.
for a chance of maybe stealing
I
some
think it's a
big
black
points
flag.
here
I do believe.
late as the field's getting
I
prepared.
was talking to my
As,
teammate. What'd you say?
Still waiting for those lights to turn off. This gives us time to say thank you to our amazing sponsor that helps out
Yes.
here for the WSSR. Been a major sponsor for the last few seasons. Has been the trophy that the drivers have hunted for since season 4.
Nope, only
That is Trophy
brake
Smack. Trophy
biased
Smack.
mass
Your
cylinder.
one-stop shop to go find yourself
and,
trophies, championship belts, rings, and more. You go on over to TrophySmack.com. You can
Yeah,
check out their
and I'm
wide range
selecting every corner.
selections of pre-made trophies or customized trophies that you
23rd
can
now?
customize to your own liking,
21st.
as well as customize the belts, the rings, and you also can go
But it's a
find
little- it's not-
customizable
In the
wall
we've all
metal
been
plates
moving
that
it
you can
back
put
to
your
try
own
to get it
image
looser
on.
on entry.
And as well, it comes with its own magnet-safe wall placement system. And on top of that, if you also
It was at like
if you'd rather
55,
have
and
a
I think I
placement
got
for
like
just your
50
desk
right
or
now.
shelf,
Hi,
you
Cody.
can also find their stands that they have as well.
Hello.
Remember, when purchasing at Trophy
That's
Smack,
fine.
remember to use the
Fucking
promo
myself.
code
Hi, Tyler.
WSSR Smack for 10% off.
I think
Thanks so
that
much
was
to Trophy
so
Smack
good.
has been the primary sponsor these last few seasons, and also will be the championship
think I was
provider
right,
for
so
season 9 that the
I guess the wall.
championship drivers are hunting for. And one of these drivers will get it for the first time of a trophy from Trophy Smack, as Benjamin Nelson has taken the trophy the last 2 seasons. Justin, it's always
We're knocking on
crazy
that
to
top
think
20 door, baby.
that, we're in a sim racing series.
Did you do the
Bunch of
Control
random
12
people
thing?
come together. We got a series, and they're all challenging for a championship trophy that they all are going to be having a chance to hoist if you make it to the playoffs.
The popularity of iRacing
It's really
is just
only the top
growing,
6
and
sliders that matter.
having
But
the trophy is amazing. I think of fantasy
Now,
football
Zach,
leagues and
don't
how
do
popular
something
they've
that's gonna make me
gone
write
over the
something
years,
mean
and
about you.
People have trophies. My brother actually has been running
No.
the league since 1995, and they have a trophy with all the winners' names on it. And I'm thinking that's just really cool. And
Just gonna
that's
ride behind you,
probably
buddy.
what's happening with this league. You see it, they're now
No
in
reason
season
for
9.
saying
Obviously,
Yeah, you
iRacing
did that to
hasn't been
yourself.
around for 30
10
years.
more. Yeah,
But
we'll see
it's
what
the
happens here.
popularity. Everyone's getting involved in it now, and you find these big groups and
Actually see the
big
fucking
groups of
leader.
drivers want to be in there. You got 39 drivers out here tonight. So winning a race, winning a championship, it just becomes something that's like so important to these drivers out here, and they want to be out here racing. And I think it's great. It puts on a great show, and we got people watching now. Just fabulous how it's all working out. But we're going to be going back to green here,
Green
coming to
flag.
lap 17. We're going to see if those new tires are able to make up any ground before the stage caution.
Huh.
Driver with the freshest tires,
Car,
only
hi.
Matt Mired in 23rd of
22.
Bronson
Okay,
Stafford.
Dakota. The
All the
next
drivers
car
up
is
front.
72,
Old
and their
tires
rating
and
is
hoping for a good
2.2.
run. Initial
Hold your
start.
line.
Give it to Larry Yingling on the green. Gavin
Hold
Rogers
your line.
to defend off a second and third position.
Hold your line.
75. Waits and watches in
Still
his
there.
mirrors. It's the Lucky Duck teammates going back and
Still
forth. But
there.
they finally will give up third places.
Hold
Edward
that line.
Jr. is able to take third position away,
Still
but
there.
Aaron Smith the second
You're
seeing a
clear
lot of weakness.
outside.
He might decide and try to put some pressure moving forward. Speaking of pressure forward, Vincent Sora, the 51. He
Outside.
wants 2 positions as he'll dive it down low, trying to get
Hold
by
your
Ken
line.
Cable. Chris Stitz, the Storm Motorsports
They're about to wreck.
teammates,
Line.
they're trapped in a hard place. Stitz goes wide. He'll
Still
fall
there.
to lose 2 positions, maybe more, as he continues
Still
to try to hold
there.
steady. Oh, contact! Center corner in the grass.
Still
The
there.
13 trying to hold on. Somehow he does.
Still there.
And what a move, but it makes the whole field try to scatter.
Still
They've got to
there.
go 2-3 wide, and this is going to set up another calamity
Still there.
section as they get down at turn number 1. Justin,
there.
this is causing for calamity. They're 3
your
wide.
line.
2 throws deep. More contact. 4
your
wide.
line.
Hunter's gone into the outside wall. Danny
Hold your
Cochran's
line.
fading back. This is looking like a hornet's nest. The
Still
caution
there.
is looming. If you want to be inside of the top 10,
Still
you
there.
got to go now because this
Come on, baby.
caution
Shove
is
me, shove me,
waiting.
shove me, shove me.
There.
That's also going to be Zinchek.
Hold
They
your line.
make contact, but they stay in line together.
Still there.
On the 11, he's going to go up high now and try and get around
Hold
the
your
8.
line.
The 13, though, big loser on that cycle.
Still there.
Everything just seemed like he got hit twice, lost a lot of spots.
Hold your line.
Has to be super frustrating, but we know he has speed, so he's
We are
got to be
clear up
able to
high.
stay calm. Caution's going to be coming out. You just right now want to relax.
For what it's worth,
Right
Cedric,
here,
that
we're on
wasn't me
board. We're
killing you
watching
for
the
no
13
reason in
and
the
the 8
one
battle
there.
for this position, but that got really
Fucking
scary multiple
dumbass.
times.
No, I know
right
that.
there.
I think it's just
Zach
an
Paul,
idiot.
just trying to say that.
Just
Look at him, he's right up there in the top 15 now. He's
Fuck.
in trouble behind this group. Matt Mir got clipped and sent into the outside wall as it hit the front stretch, and that is going to cost even more drivers of dealing with issues and having to drive around the 72. Heavy damage, but we continue to stay green. 2 laps to go before the stage is over, and the drivers are inside of the top 10. Pretty solidified at this moment. Top 10 is in the hands of Trent Jump, our biggest mover so far here tonight. Started back in 25th position, up to 10th. Tom Borton following also in suit.
Fucking 61 almost drifted up into us.
He's now up to 11th. They've done a great job moving forward, but on screen, watching some of the drivers with fresh rubber. This is the battling for 24th. Ryan Noel, Ollie Fonseca going side by side as a Fonseca.
Yeah, this track is kind of fun to drive though, for real.
The damage.
But up front, those that are still able to hold quick speed, it's Larry Yingling, holding steady as he takes this next lap. We're officially in the white flag of the stage. Whatever flag is thrown next when they cross the line, that will be your stage break. It's either going to be a yellow thrown at the line or before, and Yingling looks solid at this moment.
Looks solid right here. He's right on board. Out the rear of the car. See the 75 behind him. He's going to drive down to the middle of the lane and try and get some of that draft off the 67. The 67 is trying to break the draft, but
great! Now my pedals are fucking up.
To make any kind of move there.
Oh my
He's going to
God.
have one more chance coming out of the next corner. 67 gets to the bottom, and the 75, you see it right there, kind of just lost the front of the nose and slid up the track a little bit, but still trying to maintain that distance. Coming out of third and fourth final corners onto that straightaway, not going to have enough momentum. And the 70 is going to end up in third position. That's going to be your top 3.
Larry Yingling crosses the line.
My pedal came uncalibrated.
Rogers kept it close.
Also, I think I have damage from that idiot.
Bro, he fucking doored me in the turn before that.
For the stage win.
My mic wasn't working. I couldn't get my button key up, so I just got it on. So sorry, guys.
Second, Aaron Smith the second, third. Edward Sherwood Jr., Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, I only have like 3 throttle right now.
Chris Stitz, and
Oh
Trent
shit,
Jump
dude.
gonna be your
What kind of pedals do you have?
points, and that's how the points are going to be
Watch
deadly
that.
out.
They've been fucking up.
Maximum
Yeah.
points going to Larry
I'm gonna
Yingling
fit right here and
Justin.
just
Stage
unplug it and
points,
reset it.
Yeah, we're gonna go way faster than
I
120.
think it's so crazy that
I'll
Ryan Noel
fix it. I'm
gave
gonna
up
reset
those
my wheel
points
when I
so
pit here.
easily when he was inside of the top 10, and he probably could have gotten top 5 points if he had stayed out there.
Yeah,
We were kind of using him up there at the end because the stage was coming up, so I was like, fuck it.
Will it have worked out for him? Right now, he's going to have really good track position. The race is still early. We're 21% of the way through this race. He's going to have about 3 laps on the tires, so the tires are still going to be in pretty good condition. He's going to have that track position, and he's going to have cars behind him that are going to keep the 67,
Clark, what's the right front
They're
look
going to be
like?
about back there in maybe 10th, 12th position, I'm thinking. So it'll be interesting to see how much those 3-lap tires matter if we get a long green flag run.
Gone like 90% of the time on my screen. It's looking really bad.
Kind of gives us also time to take a look at a couple of other schemes that are out there on track.
I'm just gonna reset, fix all the damage.
I'm
not sure what's going on.
Another throwback scheme is actually back in third. I mean in fifth,
Okay.
excuse me.
Yeah, it's chilled out
That's
right
gonna
now.
be
You
the
haven't
machine of
blinked
Ryan
since like the
Kelly.
lap prior, but when you were green
Going
there,
with the throwback
you were
scheme from the Cars
gone.
universe. Going with the strip weather.
61,
he
ran out of town right in front of me.
Series with the Dynaco blue
Yeah,
and also
simple.
some white. Love the fact that some
Might
of
have
the
been why
drivers,
you
they didn't just go
started
with
to
real
lose
life
the draft there at the
throwback
end,
schemes.
too.
Some
Might
went
not have
with
been
also,
registering
you know,
that your car was
movies
in
and
like a
TV
risk.
shows throwback schemes as well.
Definitely a nice looking car there on the number 3 machine, and a car that we haven't really got to see yet tonight, but right now we're seeing it. I'm pretty certain we're going to see him in the top 5 before this night's over. And
Thought I was gonna end up wrecking Carl, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
machines and the 75. He's going to be one to definitely watch for, as you see actually is right now into the top 5.
Ryan, I was having the same
Yeah,
problem.
also another driver of note, in 15th position, John Forbes, who we saw in the middle of all that
Okay.
calamity. He's going with a very unique scheme for himself. He's actually running the 90s SCA C4 racing scheme. Different type of different racing style schemes. Some drivers went with NASCAR throwback schemes. Some went with outside of NASCAR racing. As the 11 is entering their box. And some of the drivers of note, you know, we talked about making the pit stop and staying out was a choice, or do you pit and top off on fuel? Well, some of the drivers that made that pit stop under our last caution, staying out, not going to be making a pit stop. It looks like Carl Pooler staying out.
How the fuck
He's
did
gonna
the
try to lead a
61
lap, as
whatever,
well
dude.
as having Ryan Noel,
How did I
Jua,
go in front of
man, that was close.
shit ass pit
Building
curve?
tight.
as well as Cody Reed and Ryan P. Johnson staying out on
Thought I
track,
had it.
not going to be getting service done because they've already pitted 8 laps ago. But the race off the pit road, Gavin Rogers actually able to get out before Larry Yingling.
I got
in
the
67,
pedals fixed.
Let's
I
see if we
didn't
can get
see a
word,
damage
I
timer
should
though.
say, with our stage
unless I
winner,
just
the
missed it.
67 of Larry Yingling, to get his thoughts on how
Maybe
this
you're good.
race is feeling so far. Larry, it's Sam and Justin up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Well, Larry, you fought. You
Is it
climbed
actually
the first
crinkled? Is
initial
the fender
start.
actually
You
crinkled in
lost
or
lead
anything?
position for a few laps, then took it back, and then
Pedels, do you have
last couple of
outscored?
restarts, you've been the dominant driver. What's the 67 feeling like? And congratulations on taking the stage
Talking to
win.
me?
Appreciate it. Yeah, it felt pretty
Yeah,
good.
did you have
I know
optimal-
Gavin seemed he can dive it into the corner more than
No,
me. So
I didn't have
he
anything.
might have been using more brakes than me in order to do that.
Well, what the heck,
But just randomly, I think if he gets a win, it would just randomly get loose. And
So I'm
Uh,
assuming those people that
usually off
didn't
of 2 or 4,
pit-
and sometimes it's tight. And
I pitted. I don't know.
I know once I got past Gavin, I definitely felt a little more loose. So probably
Well, now we don't have to worry about stages no more
more
the rest of the
stable to
race.
be
That was
right
the only
behind
stage
someone
in this
38.
league. They only do one stage
Larry,
per
congrats
race.
on the stage win.
Thankfully,
You
I hate
talked
stages.
about
I was
getting
trying
loose
to,
on you
wouldn't
there,
let
maybe
me.
with the wind. Is there anything that the driver can do out there? Maybe
Can you
utilizing
adjust your brake bias
not
for brakes?
using 4th gear and
Yes.
staying in 5th gear versus something like that. Is
Whatever
that
you
anything you
want.
can do to try?
Oh,
and
now
keep
it's
the
letting me-
rear
oh,
end
now
of the
it's
car
letting me
down
do it
there? Is
for
that
some
anything you
reason.
were playing with?
Okay, Dakota, get
I
ready.
wasn't
Race
playing with it.
I was
at
at
the
51.5,
first stage,
I'm
but I
at
know if you stay in
57 now.
5th,
Shit,
it
I
would
put mine back to
be
like 47 or something.
more tighter or more snug headering, and the way the RPMs are, it shouldn't get as much wheel
Yeah,
spin
if
off
it
the
gets
corners.
bad,
It should
I'll
be a
drop to the
little more
back.
stable, but you'll be a little slower. But it would
I
help
think I'm actually
save
gonna take it
fuel, which
out.
we
My
might have to
teammates
do
are
the
on,
rest of
like,
the race if
47.
there's no yellows.
Well, Larry, again, congratulations on the stage win. I know you want to get up
Yeah,
there. and
before
try
I'll
here
I'll
tonight,
try to
so we'll
keep
let
you
you go back
updated on
up
what it's
to
doing.
just
I haven't seen
be
it
loose
just
or on it.
went under yellow, so.
Later on here this evening.
Thank you, sir.
That's going to be your stage winner in the 67.
Excuse me, it's 49.9,
machine
not
of
47.
Larry Yingling. But it's the biggest surprise of them all. Carl Pooler thought
But
maybe
yeah,
he
I
was
feel
going
like
to
it's
stay out
helping me
for one lap, lead a lap.
on the injury.
Take it away. The 58 is the only driver yet to pit so far here tonight. 24 laps in. Justin, this is looking like we already saw what could have been chaos. We're coming to the end of the stage. This could be even more chaotic, with the driver going to be
You streaming this
potentially
one, bud?
so much slower than everyone else.
Yep.
We are in a
So I'm
limitless
thinking maybe
sandwich, everybody.
what he is out here thinking, Sam, is we got some of the cautions in the beginning.
The
Wants to get away
sandwich
from
is limitless.
all the trouble out in the back. But right now he's
Greg
going to
and
run
Alex
it
aren't
out
here,
until
you're
he runs out of fuel. Then he's going to pit and use that first set of tires.
Well,
he might
stay
not
first.
lose a lap just because the track is so big. And if a caution does
That's
come
fair.
out, we'll go in
Carl's
and
up
put
front.
those
That's a
tires on. But
problem.
he's going to have an
Yeah,
extra
we're about
set
to go
right
green.
now over the field.
I
So
like
if he's able to
to
go
keep
another 10 or
volume.
15 laps before he
Just
has
got
to
the
pit,
stage caution.
that's
By
gonna
the
be his
way, we
first
can
set
only
of
go
tires,
35
and
laps.
maybe
Wah,
later
wah,
on in
wah,
this
wah.
race it comes back to save him. Maybe he's able to bolt on a fresh pair with 15 to go when no one
Or-
else
So
has it.
essentially two
Maybe
stopper.
Maybe he could drive
My
to the
legend
front.
keeps
So
him out.
maybe
Yesterday, I
a
can't
big
talk much.
strategy play out of the 58 machine.
And we also heard during that talk with Larry Yingling,
No.
fuel, different gears could help with the fuel mileage. If you're in 5th gear, 41 laps
flag, we're
is
racing.
the chance. If you're driving by yourself and using 4th gear and shifting, only 38 laps. So we might be seeing a lot more drivers playing with their gear ratios to try to
Hold
turn
that
this
line.
race into a
825.
one-stop if we stay clean
Hold
and
your
green.
line.
But Carl Pooler already going to take us to the green.
Still
There's
there.
no more stage racing. It's about taking it to the
Still
end.
there.
Your top 6 drivers, older tires than
Hold
the
your line.
rest. But Carl Pooler, the one who's yet to pit, he's already
Still
in the
there.
wall for a quick graze. But it's Carl
Still
Pooler,
there.
Drew Jua, who also going to be seeing Brian
Still there.
Noel, your top
Alright, what's
3.
Ryan gonna do?
Traffic's on the move
Hold
quickly
your
here
line.
instead of our top 5. It looks like Nick Crawford had a massive
Hold your
run,
line.
not able to utilize it just yet. Instead, it's Drew Jua
Outside's
to the
clear.
inside for
Outside.
the first position as it's past
Outside.
speed for first place confirmed.
Your outside is clear.
Third, not
the
able to
fuck,
get
dude?
confirmed. Drew Jua able to already make the pass of Carl Pooler in that 58, dropping back
Sorry
already to
for it, but
second.
we're getting on the
Whoa,
brakes.
Oh, Danny.
How patient are you willing to ride for
You're all
the rest of
good.
this race, knowing that if it stays
happened?
green,
Hi, Danny.
this race
You
could
just
be
wrecked.
a one-stop of trouble
Rip.
for a driver further on back. Danny
B23.
Cochran had issues on the exit of 4 and clobbers the inside pit wall.
Oh, not good for the number 2 machine there, Danny.
That idiot
Cochran.
just cost me a
But
ton
we
of
stay
time.
green. That's going to be even worse for him. Did not get to caution. Must have been one of those single car incidents. iRacing not picking up the caution. And right here, we're still seeing the 07 machine. Brian Noel, he's going to get back by the 58 car puller. Set his sights on Drew at the number 77.
We got a car out of the groove up here.
On screen. Brian Noel going to take it off here. 74 is going to try and get under the 58.
Okay, 10-4. We're just going to fucking send it.
Get that replay up, Sam.
Still there.
In trouble for a driver behind this 07. It's going to be Edward Sherwood Jr.
Fucking 8 just fucking sends it from God. 2 fucking car links back.
Wide on the entry of turn 3, just losing over 5 positions in a blink of an eye. Also, already seeing drivers wiggling motions off the exit of these corners. The exits are going to be so tough every single lap that they go around this track. And I want to also take a look at our weather conditions as we're seeing Edward Sherwood Jr. trying to work on that outside groove with Tom Bourne. How has this weather conditions changed from the start of the race? Well, it hasn't shown a lot here as we're still at 125 degrees track temp, but it has dropped at moments. It's dropped all the way down to 120 at one time, declined at one moment up to 130 degrees. That wind is still fluctuating 2 miles per hour from 5 up to 7. We'll see how that continues to change as the race progresses. A trend jump past a big save for the 47. He tries to hold staying low, able to do so, and forcing Tom Bourne high in. The rest of the field carrying better momentum and speed off the exit of turn 4, and that 46 is going backwards.
Lost a lot of time. You saw him come out of the corner, even get a little loose the second time there as he was trying to gather it up.
God damn it, GT.
On the straightaway, just not a good corner right there. But hey, we're only 28 laps in. He's got to regroup, try and salvage a good finish here.
Fuck, man.
Back. Never know what's going to happen. Most important thing, did not have any accidents. You see the 11, same things. He's going to get loose coming out of the corner. It just kills the momentum right here on this straightaway. You see these drivers, look at that. He goes way up, block that run. Wow, Sam. Oh my goodness, he pulled right up in front of the 46. I mean, he's lucky right there. He didn't get turned into the wall.
And for some of these drivers, they have past history with one another as 11 John Forrest right.
Oh, someone just died in the inside wall.
The race for championships, the smoke piles up in front of them. Driver slow, and that's Carl Pooler that has trouble. Another driver going down to the inside wall, exactly where Danny Cochran had trouble, and that's Tom Bourne, who gets into the inside wall. He continues to race on, but that was a hard hit to the left side, and Tom Bourne now has required damage. He has to drive around the track a whole lap before pit road calls for him.
Multiple incidents happening on this previous lap. We stayed green somehow, but just a lot of single car incidents right there coming out of turn 4, and a couple guys that didn't hit the wall.
Still
lost
there.
A lot of track position. You see right here the 06 just having that little bit of an issue, struggling right here, right on this front straightaway. It looks like they're going to get 2 cars by him potentially. Car not probably up to ideal speed, but you said required damage, so we're expecting him to be coming into pits this time by.
And also going to be seeing a few drivers driving by. That was Mike
Teller. Big run, big run.
7-01, Matthew Rodriguez, affiliate drivers with Tom Bourne, but our Hula Monkeys. Tom Bourne, part of Sky Motorsports. As Tom Bourne sits steady to enter pit road, he'll go shooting down the inside. Also, another driver who wasn't trying to shoot down there. Saw the Hot Wheels machine. That is the 4 of Justin Forbes. And a driver that's learning a lot this season. One of his first seasons ever doing a sim racing series and the throwback scheme of the Jack Baldwin 1993 Hot Wheels Camaro machine. And always nice to see a Hot Wheels machine. I love it whenever drivers try to take the imagination that Hot Wheels machines brings out and try to place it on one of these next-gen cars, or even on the trucks that we sometimes see these drivers try to rock. As we move further on up, seeing the Lucky Duck teammates 1-2, Drew Jua, Brian Noel, and now going to be seeing Larry Yingling and Brian P. Johnson, 3rd and 4th position. They got a little bit of work to catch up to our front 2, but Yingling on the freshest set of tires. He's been doing a great job climbing his way through this field, and now he's got one more before we can really try to tackle our top 2 drivers.
And speaking of the top 2 drivers, we have to definitely touch on the fact that the 77 Drew Jewett involved in that first incident of the night.
I'm experimenting right now.
Clipped there on the inside and then went back into the wall and hit it with the front right side of the car pretty well. I mean, the damage didn't really show up. You made a note, Sam. There there was no required damage. So it might be one of those iRacing things where the incident looked harder than it was,
guy
but
ahead
the
of us
damage
is
doesn't
car
show up
number
because it's not
14.
affecting that car at all. He's out there pushing the air right
I
now.
just overshot 3.
Still holding speed on that front straightaway, not having a problem, even though he's on just slightly older tires and the cars behind him, just about 3 or 4 laps older.
That
But
lap
still
was
able
at
to hold strong.
53.95. Good lap. Actually quickest today.
Few that are willing, if they have the momentum, to duck low to try to go for a pass. As Chris did, it's going to be under fire from Trent Jump, and now going to have Tom Senchek and a couple of others trying to settle for a pass to move forward at this current time. Brian McCann, who the 8 machine.
Yeah, I don't want to lose these
a little
guys.
bit further back than what we traditionally see from the 8 machine, and currently running back in 21st position. As we take another look at the 11 of John Forbes' machine for a quick second there, but his field in the middle of the pack, all searching for some good speed, if possible, for themselves. We hop on board with Bronson Stafford, one of the drivers that had to start in the back after penalties that carried over from Dover and the 91. And driver at one moment throughout the week was saying, I'm not going to race tonight. Indy shows up, and here tonight, I know he comes in with
Hey, Ollie, what are you doing here?
But already in 22nd position, not a bad place to be for the night for the 61, who's seeing a little bit of action in front of him as drivers are getting side by side racing with one another. It's going to be seen the Tom Senchek, John Forbes, as well as Kanata, McCann, squeezing off the exit of the corners. Justin, how difficult is it? We heard that it can get tight.
Thanks, Dad.
With these vehicles in that 5th gear. What are you thinking with these drivers? Maybe you're feeling out there if they're trying to drive side by side this late into a run.
And now being 12 laps into this run, I would think the tires are definitely starting to feel like they don't want to turn anymore. But this track being so much momentum, Sam, you come out of the corners, and if you have to lift, you see the 11 just kind of sliding coming out of the corner there. That was impressive, but it makes it so challenging because you want to carry all the momentum on these long straightaways. So if you have to lift, you know you're going to lose spots, but if you don't and you hit that wall, you don't want to knock these fenders in too much. I mean, you never know. You kind of get that suspension damage, and you might end up with required repair. These cars can take a beating, but how much can they take? That's the question. And
thank you here, Norris. I'll
right
give it
here,
to you.
you see the 8 pass on the 11. We'll know. We're starting to hit that longer type run that we've had so far. It looked like we had a couple cautions early in the first 20 laps. We didn't really get over about 8 laps. But right now, we're coming up on lap 13 into this run, and drivers are definitely going to be having these tires squealing.
And speaking of tires squealing, Nick Crawford on some of the older tires, he's starting to fade back to the clutches of those that pitted at our stage break. That's the 74. Going to be under pressure now from the 3 of Ryan Kelly, as Kelly got the better run, and he'll send it to the inside of Crawford into turn number 1. And each one of these drivers starting to get a little bit more spacing in between the whole pack, and you see now little pods of battles between one another. Battle for that 3rd place position starting to creep up and get a little bit closer. And one of those that's a part of this creeping up, Gavin Rogers as well as Vincent Sora. Those two, I think they're going to be the top drivers in my eyes when we enter the playoffs to watch out for. One of the close races this season, but also just the raw speed both of these young drivers have. They are expecting to be so fast throughout this season. But one of the veterans of the series,
Okay, Dakota, the next car is Fonseca, 24,
trying to
B
hold
license.
back
Yeah,
Gavin
rating
Rogers
is
as possible.
3.5.
Gotta give credit to Johnson. He's on 8-lap older tires than the likes of Rogers as well as Sora behind, and he's still defending quite well at this moment, running comparable speeds to Larry Yingling.
He is right there running in the top 5 positions. I mean, getting up front, being in the clean air, and being able to utilize the draft, and maybe even save some of the tire, having that toe down the straightaway, lift the spec early, try and save that right front, get into the corner, could be ideal. I mean, these guys that got the new tires, they had to start further back, they had to work a little harder to get around some of those guys, so they might have used up a little more tires. You see right here, 3 wide battle, the 46 is going to be on the inside. Gonna make contact.
Oh, a little bit of a tap there. Trent Jump into center corner. Hunter is able to stay steady. They'll now go 2 wide as Jump has to back out of it. Cody Reed on that 3rd lane had no idea that there were bumps being given, but he'll try to carry that momentum off the outside and try to maybe go for a pass. But instead, we go from 3 wide into 3. to everyone in line. It was actually the middle driver that got tapped that takes both those spots.
The middle driver going to take both of those spots. That's 13 of Cedric Hunter in the throwback paint scheme that you mentioned. As we go right here up to the top 10, up here in 8th position, your pick, Sam, Aaron Smith, hanging strong, staying with these guys all day, trying to get that done for you. And right behind him, Brian Kelly, who we talked about, also showing up in the top 10 as well, running in 9th position.
Yeah, one of our picks.
I think it was the 72 that was in front of me. You disappeared.
One of our picks as well, Zach Paul, and seeing the rest of the field and how they've been reacting here tonight. Justin, I mean, a lot of our pick drivers, they've been running well the last couple of weeks. I know yourself and Robert picking Ryan Kelly last week. It worked out to see Kelly win. He's on here tonight. I know you picked Larry Yingling. He's slotted in a pretty good spot here this evening. It seems like all three of our picks doing well because I got to give credit to Zach Hall. He's up to 13th position.
Yeah,
32's done a fabulous job. Again, had to start all the way back in the last with an L1 penalty of an Arca break last week at Dover. He's now 13th, right behind Ken Campbell. That's 5 seconds off of our leaders at this moment.
And I have to correct myself. I said you picked Aaron Smith, and you actually have Zach Hall. And
there it is.
Like you said, driving up through this field, getting up in the 13th position, he's going to be inside the top 10 before we know it. And I think it's going to come down to potentially one of the 3 drivers we talked about might be winning this race. But as we speak, it's not currently happening because the 77 is still holding off Brian Noel, but Larry Yingling is still 1.9 seconds back. Sam, even with the 3-lap better tires, he's kind of been in that 2-second range. It seems like he's right there, not able to utilize the draft of those 2 cars, so he's having to do it on his own. Those 2 up front are kind of
damn it, Norris.
Pull down the straightaways better than the 67 is right now. As you see, doesn't really have anyone in front, not close enough to get that.
Great. Fucking Norris gonna make me lose you now.
One thing that I am most concerned about for
Just can't do anything behind these guys.
Brian Noel, were they making on a caution? Because these drivers, we were given the fuel window of anywhere. If you were saving fuel in the draft, focus 100%. You can drive about 41 laps. Now with the stage yellow, where it gives you a few more laps, you might be able to try to stretch it out, turn this race into a one-stop. But for Drew Jua and Brian Noel, they pitted 8 laps sooner than the stage yellow coming out. I don't know if under that pacing they were going to save enough. They would have had to be clutching immediately, really in the mindset of we have to save our fuel to try to turn this race to a one-stop from here. Our top 2, they got a lot of work. And for Drew Jua, he's not being gifted with that draft help. He has to be full throttle throughout this whole entire race track.
That's exactly what I was just going to bring up. Is if anyone's definitely not going to make it, Drew Jua, I can't see doing it because I think they pitted lap 15, so that's 85 laps. If you figure the max was 41 running in 5th gear, that's about 82 laps, even with the caution laps we had. That puts it borderline scary. But him out there pushing that air, you know.
Come on, GT, get out of the fucking way.
He's definitely going to have trouble making it. Brian Noel might have a better chance just being able to draft behind him like he's been for these last 15 to 20 laps. Larry Yingling, he's going to be all right just pitting 8 laps later, like you said. He doesn't have anyone in front of him, so he's definitely burning more fuel than having an 8-lap push. I'm pretty confident everyone who pitted at that stage is going to be in good shape, but I would be really nervous about the top 2, like you said.
Richard Wolsifer in the 56 machine. He was planning on running the throwback scheme, but just was not able to load. I don't know if he didn't set it up properly for us to see it, but he's running his default scheme with this 56 at this track. It is, it's kind of weird to look back on, but Richard Wolsifer, we've kind of watched him gradually find the speed each and every season. He showed up back in season 5, and it was Richard Wolsifer's just his return of coming back in racing, in iRacing after taking a 10-year hiatus. And for the past 2 years, he's been growing as a driver, took a season break in the middle of season 5 to now, and it has been a pleasure to watch him. We've also watched him in plenty of other leagues, and Richard here tonight, it kind of was a fun night to come back to, thinking back to season 5 when it was his debut race in WSSR, and now 4 seasons later, he's running out here once again as he's struggling at this moment. Other drivers that are trying to find some speed just inside of our top 30. You have Jared Hughes that's
about to move him.
To run for himself, but we have to move up instead of our top 10 because there is some chaotic racing going on for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th position. They've been side by side, Gavin Rogers and Aaron Smith for a
That's
second.
nice.
Then it turned into Edward Sherwood Jr. And oh no, Ryan Kelly blasted by the 71. He'll come back up the track. Oh
Alright,
no,
so
Lucky
you're
Ducks.
spotter and you're also
Calamity
crew chief, so you gotta
strikes,
do
and there's
math.
the yellow
I think we
flag
can go
on
35
lap
laps on fuel.
42. And this is the caution that was rumored that if it lined up here, this could cause the rest of the race into a weird spot for pit stops from here on out.
Oh, it does.
Did you check my left rear?
What a, I can't wait to see this replay. I mean, these drivers
And
have
mind
to
you,
be
we have 4
ultimately
sets in the pits.
frustrated. Aaron Smith's just unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, walk us through us here, Sam.
Is going to be seeing Gavin Rogers, Edward Sherwood Jr. side by side. I don't know if there was contact on the entry of the corner. They were close to one another as the 71 gets loose up on the outside, snaps
There's just
loose,
a little bit of
tail
cosmetic
slaps
damage
the 3,
on the
kind of
back
sends both
left
drivers
side.
down, and once
But it looks like the
Ryan
temperature's
Kelly
decreasing.
trying to
It's
stay
now
off the inside wall, it ships him back on the racing surface, and it's Aaron Smith the second, the innocent victim, and then Edward Sherwood Jr. tries to race on and make sure no one else collects with them, but an unfortunate circumstance of just hard racing, kind of a major, just unlucky racing incident that strikes.
I was just about to ask if we could get on board. I need to see this from his view. So unfortunate. It's going to be coming out of this next corner. You see right
Lower
here,
the track
71's
bar a little
getting
bit,
loose,
that'd
gonna
be
come
okay.
down, hit the 3, and he's just going to carry so much speed. The 70 has to think he's in good shape. Whoa, no.
Oh yeah.
That's so unfortunate.
Robbers. And this is kind of what has been the Lucky Ducks kind of MO this season. Just unfortunate circumstance after unfortunate circumstance. And I took another look at it from my point of view. There was no contact made between Gavin Rogers and Edward Sherwood Jr. Just simply was side by side, lost the rear end through the center of the corner, and tried to chase it all the way through the horseshoe. They just never caught up with Edward Sherwood Jr. And unfortunately, it was Kelly that was involved. Hard contact, but they'll continue to race on for Kelly. For Aaron Smith II, though, he joins the pile of drivers that have called it a night.
Yeah, that's what the lap 20 caution
DNF
was
given
for.
the 70 machine. Also, Mike Tellier's called it a night. Matt Meir has called it an evening. On top of that, Tom Moore, Danny Cochran, and Ryan Ferraro.
There's only one.
Yes, I'm up
Also
Dakota.
part of the
I mean,
group
Ollie,
drivers
on the
that
break.
they are done for tonight's race. As the race off a pit road, oh, it's close. Yingling Noel, I believe it's going to go to the 07 of Brian Noel. Going to be the leader off that restart.
He is going to be the leader. The driver that decided to give up that stage positions in the begining of the race, now going to be leading this race. We'll have the clean air, but he's going to have the 67 right behind him. Jujua going in as the leader, not coming out as the leader though, unfortunately. Going to be lining up third on the inside line behind the 07, so he should hopefully get a good restart for him. But I got to talk about 2 things I noticed on the pit stops. One, there's drivers that are now inside the top 10, coming out 8th place, moving on up. But I saw Brian P. Johnson slide through his box, Sam, when we were talking about Ryan Kelly there. I just caught it out of the corner of my eye.
You don't get a yellow.
I saw him reversing. You know that caused a valuable
If by a certain lap we haven't got the yellow,
pit stop, and the drivers are all bunched up. Lost valuable position.
Yeah, because we still get stacked.
Lots of time for sure, given all around as the 01 and Matthew Rodriguez gets ready to try to get this lap back for himself for the wave around. And for us up in the booth,
Boots are open.
This might be a perfect time to take our break so far. We're closing in on halfway here tonight. Still plenty of hard racing to go. We've seen a couple of big wrecks. Are there any bigger ones waiting, or will we stay clean and green to the end? We'll have to wait and see as you are watching the WSSR Cup Series Season 9, race number 9. Indianapolis 250 here this evening. It's been a pleasure to give you all the coverage. We'll be back right after this to go green at Indy.
I was looking at tires. I say if we haven't got a yellow by lap 80, we pit around there.
Keep on hitting me. I mean, I got shoved through you there, so.
It's the World Series of Sim Racing.
Like, I know why you're mad, but I got a big shot behind you, and I had to take it, so. If not, I would have just killed you and whoever was here outside.
Gotta be careful.
Also, we only have 2 sets of tires left.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
He's digging, he's climbing, he's right on the bumper. Blocking gonna be made. Will there be contact? Here comes Thompson. Check on the outside. We're gonna be blocked, defended. Brian Johnson, Albinin will win. Here comes Vincent Sword to the inside, but it's not enough. Brian Johnson wins, and it's gonna be the 13 trying his best. He'll hold on, or will he cross the line? It's Cedric.
Dinner first at least? Jesus.
That's Josh.
I know.
Hi, Dakota.
Hi.
What the hell is he doing back here? Shouldn't he be up front?
Well, you know.
Oh, there's the idiot in the 61 that gave me that fucking damage earlier.
I got GT in front of me, so there's that.
Dude, I could not get around him. I couldn't.
Green flag.
As Space Yard pulls up, we're about to go green. It's Brian Noel.
Someone was playing games up there on the restart.
As we enter the restart zone, we're green at the Indianapolis.
Clear on the inside. You got a car on the low side.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Still there.
As we are back to green flag racing. Drew Jua not waiting any time. Green countdown for the teammates.
Still there.
As they're able to get back to 1 and 2, where they were dominant for so long. And if you're just joining us, here's our weather so far. It has been hot out there on track, but this is
I got jumping right on my ass too.
On temps, 118 degrees is the track temp. It's cooled off a little bit, but the wind has started to raise. That's another couple of those factors that have changed up. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me on the booth is Justin Malarkey. Justin, on this restart, the teammates are back to 1 and 2 racing.
Still there.
But the weather, I think that's the big thing. They got a little bit extra grip to work with, so we might see some more hard, aggressive racing as we're seeing for second place.
We are seeing that for second place. 67 doesn't want to waste any time. Look at that, it's going to bring in Vincent Sword right behind him, coming down the straightaway. They're going to try to work around Drew Jua. Let's look at the pushing going on, going off into turn 1. 51's going to wisely lift. Doesn't want to push the 67 too far into the corner. These drivers, you see the 67 there, not able to kind of stay on the bottom, pushed up a little bit there.
Look at 61, god damn it, dude.
Car inside.
Watch out for the 51. Vincent Sword, if he's got a big enough run, he might chip it 3 wide. He's done it a times in the middle of the pack, and he might try to do it for another possible chance. Called it, and here it is, trying to go for the inside run. Found the momentum and trying to get by Larry Yingling. He gave it to Yingling one good shove, so this is your chance to make this pass. Now get out of my way. I'm going to move forward for a top 3, finishing a run. Cannot carry the momentum. He'll slot back in line. Gavin Rogers, I know, has some fans out there on track cheering on the 75. A couple of other drivers further back trying to find some good momentum, but Gavin Rogers just sits in the top 5. He is a driver to watch out for, but he hasn't shown strength here on the long run. In the short run where he's been very dominant, but Ryan Noel just put down the fastest lap, and he is pulling away. Gap almost a full second. First and second already with all the battling going on.
I ain't gonna.
Full second, already opening up. Ryan Noel, you have to remember, he was behind Drew on that previous one. He was one that was about a second back. Now he's got the chance to pull out there and gap. Larry Yingling actually can pull up there in a second, maybe, and get it going through this corner as you ride on board right here. With the rating is got a great view. Larry Yingling able to complete that pass. He's going to now work on trying to catch Brian Noel and recapture this lead.
Trying to recapture this lead, and again, kudos to Drew Jua.
So you ain't got to make a pass by yourself.
Based on the strategy of hitting early before the end of the stage. Have that caution.
Got a car on your inside.
In the middle
Clear inside.
of stage 1 that enabled both the 07 and 77 to have this track position to be up front.
Inside.
Yingling puts down the fastest lap though in second place
clear.
with slightly cleaner air with that gap built out. Let's see if anyone else can really close in this gap as we're closing in ourselves on halfway. A few other drivers want to take a look at on their schemes and also on their run. Running in 9th place currently and trying to set up a pass again by his former teammate Shane Tarian, being pressured by Zach Paul. And the 32, Zach Paul bringing out a throwback scheme. He's back in the day season 5 scheme that he would run. This was a Joe Nemechek 90s car that Joe Nemechek ran back in the day. And this 32, hoping to bring back a little bit more of that magic that he had back in season 5. trying to make the pass. Again, former Carolina Reaper teammates from last season. They split up, went to their own teams. Sky joined Snowy Desert Racing as Shane went back to his traditional team with Sky Motorsports, but respect each other on track. And the 32 now up to 8th place.
The guy ahead is Kelly.
Bro, what are you doing?
Season 5, throwback like you mentioned.
I want to get my limitless this place.
there.
Maybe stop.
Has a lot of speed out of that machine, as we know. We talked about it. Starting in the back of the pack tonight.
I didn't do anything.
Last week, up to 8th position. People
Not you.
started 8th.
It was the other dude.
Sorry to get you off trouble further on back.
Oh, let's ignore the mistakes you've done or the bullshit you've done to me.
Christopher Norris and Richard Wolsifer getting into Christopher Norris on the backstretch.
But that's the second time in this race, dude.
Able to continue to race on. Rich Wolfsburg gets the
You took
worst.
it 3 wide in the spot. You shouldn't have taken it 3 wide, but then you hit my quarter panel going into a turn. So you really have no room to stop there, buddy.
That's your quickest and silent Dangler.
What's going to say wide? Stay in the back, buddy.
They both
Goodbye.
decided to run their cartoon schemes here tonight, but Christopher Norris lost a lot of time with that contact between himself and the 56 machine.
Definitely don't want contact to distract. We've seen it with the 4 other cautions we've had, how easily it is to spin out with the speeds they're carrying. But I tell you what, being lap 51, Sam, right now we're in the back half of this race. Drivers you mentioned when that last caution came out, kind of puts them in that position where no one can make it on one more stop. Everyone's got to stop at least one more time. But when do you make the stop? With being able to go approximately 40 laps of fuel, you could run it dry, get to about lap 80, 85, and then make a good stop.
That was
you're giving up time on the older tires.
Hold your line.
But if you do pit early and the caution comes out, there's a chance that you're going to be able to get tires, and other people in front of you are going to have that track position when they go in and get the tires, just because they'll have to pit, just similar to how we saw Ryan Noel use that strategy. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do.
Yeah, and also if there's a caution around the 60-lap mark, this also could put a lot of the field in that awkward spot. Or we can drive it from here to the end if there's no more yellows after that, especially with the way that feels racing back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe some contact hanging as drivers trying to make their march forward. All even say you can see
From now on, the only passes I'm making are on the top side. Fuck going to the bottom.
And then also battling behind. Drivers battling for 22nd position.
Hold that line.
Dakota Moniz and Bronson Stafford
still there.
Their own duel back and forth. And
that was
the 23rd
fucking
position,
awesome,
number 5 machine, one of her last throwback schemes that are out there on track. This one special for Dakota. He wants to have a good run here this evening, running the Pepsi number 5. Because this was the Ernie Irving 1989 scheme. And it was one of Dakota's dad's favorite drivers back in the day. And so Dakota able to run the throwback scheme again. The drivers bringing out memories for their fathers and also memories for themselves here tonight as that blazing fast TV machine is trying to continue to push his way forward. Now up to 22nd position.
22nd position, got the blazing fast on the side right there, trying to show that he's getting it done. Looks like
had to work hard for that fast.
It's now 122 Fahrenheit.
Maybe tire lockup. Just thought I saw
22nd place.
smoke there. We got a driver on pit road here, Sam.
That was trouble between Trenton Jump and Justin Forbes making contact between one another. And that's what forced the 4 into pit road, and that's what that big puff of smoke was. It was both of those drivers spinning out. Here is the replay of what happened between these two as Trenton Jump, who had been battling further on back, kind of low to speed, closed in, makes contact, and there's that puff of smoke. Just nowhere to go for either driver with no oncoming traffic. This race stays green, even with that spin that they both just had.
Wow. I mean, they got lucky there, though. Like you said, no oncoming traffic. Could have been way worse than it was. The 4 right there on screen, he saw it. Could have been way worse. But up front, that 67, he is run down. The 07 gonna make the pass going into this corner. The 07, is he gonna put up a fight? He's gonna try and hang on it outside. Yingling gets a little twitchy coming out of the corner, but it does not matter. Too much power out of the 67. Larry Yingling to the front. The 07 gonna try and stay right in his draft and stay with this 67, who's definitely been one of the fastest drivers here tonight.
Yeah, it looked like one driver dropping low, the other one pushing high, and both able to at least get out of the corner quickly there. And now Larry Yingling back to the top spot, able to get by both Lucky Duck drivers of Drew Jua and Ryan Noel. And the 67 winner of this race back in Season 2. And he only led 15 laps of that race. And it was a long race back in Season 2. 129 laps they ran during that race. Had to go into overtime a couple of times. And only had 3 cautions during that race. Here tonight, take a look at our race report.
That lap was
a couple of cautions here this
take 2.
evening. In the past couple of races, we've had ourselves with back in Season 5, we had 7 cautions. Last season, we had 11. There was a concern also with how hot this track was. This race could turn into a caution fest. I gotta give kudos. We've done a pretty good job having a couple of decently long green flag runs.
We've had pretty much a perfect race where we've had a little bit of caution, a little action. We got a little bit of long runs, seeing how these drivers can handle the older tires. And right now, we're kind of in that place where we have some good strategy here at the end. We're expecting drivers to get into that window where if they pit in about 10 laps, they're confidently going to make it to the end. That could be their early final pit stop, or some guys could run it out even further into the lap 80, 85 range. And that will give us all kinds of different strategy to talk about. So we're really getting into that window where it's going to be a really exciting race to call to the end.
And with us being able to run currently 11 laps of green flag racing so far, we're starting to see that trend of drivers that were pushing their tires a little bit too aggressively on this restart are starting to feel the hurt, dropping back, losing time. Ryan Noel again losing ground to Larry Yingling. A few drivers that are really on the move. Kudos to Zach Hall. Gavin Rogers has trapped with the pressure on Edward Sherwood Jr., but Vincent Sora in 3rd place. He's the driver that I have circled up to watch out for, but there is speed all within our top 10 that are starting to make the march forward. It's Drew Jua and Ryan Noel that I'm most concerned about as the Lucky Duck machines. He would push so aggressively to try to get back in that lead position and pull away from the rest of the field. And it's now hurt them. Everyone else is reaping the rewards of catching up to them.
On the low side.
And a driver that really got to give a huge shout out to. All the ones you mentioned, Sam,
just
right here, we're up
54.22.
We have to remember, there was one point where we were very concerned with him. I was really worried. I was like, hey, just cool down and everything's going to work out. He was getting hit left and right. It seemed like on that one lap when we were watching him, got put 3 wide, got shuffled up into the outside wall almost, lost a lot of spots. But here he is, running great back inside the top 10. He didn't let that incident affect him, and that's the difference sometimes. A really smart, talented driver like Cedric Hunt didn't let that adversity affect him. He was able to overcome it, and now he still has a chance to do really well tonight, running inside this top 10 after everything he's been through.
Don't give up, and I gotta say, Cedric Hunter's one of those drivers where even if he's caught up in an issue early on, he does have the capability of recovering it, and sometimes, even if he makes mistakes early on in a race, it kind of propels the 13 to have his best finish in the last tour. Sometimes he even puts him in a winning mindset of, all right, I gotta race even harder, I gotta hit the marks even better, and not just, you know, kind of being a lull of being up front. As Cedric Hunter up to 8th place, and that lap that you were talking about was back at 18.
A little bit. I was worried he was going to run me over.
Chaotic. A lot of different drivers look like pinballs being pushed around, but here's your top 5 currently, and you see a lot of Lucky Ducks. Yingling Racing, Larry Yingling leading the charge for 1st, then Ryan Noel, and also Nightmare Fuel of Vincent Sora in 3rd. And then it's Lucky Ducks 4-5, Drew Jua, Edward Sherwood Jr. The 4th Lucky Ducks driver is out of this race, Baron Smith II, after contact between himself and the 3 of Ryan Kelly after
I'm going to try to stop shifting.
Through 3 and 4, but at this current moment, taking the field, it is running green. And, you know, we talked about shifting, and we hopped on board with Ken Campbell. He is shifting in the 15. You just saw it there when we hopped on board. He's shifting down into 4th. He's using a little bit more of that fuel, but keeping up with the pace of our front runners at this moment.
Yeah, most importantly, keeping up with the pace. Right now, you're probably thinking,
concrete,
I don't need to save any kind of fuel because everyone's got to pit once. He's going to max that engine out as best as he can, try and gain as much speed as he can. You see right here, he wants to really get up there.
hang on right now. I got some front arrow damage that's pulling me back on this race.
He's pushing as hard as he can. But just right now, doing what he needs to do, most importantly, is you see he's one of those drivers.
Trouble ahead of him, though. It's going to be the 07 of Brian Noel, having a little bit of a slip up. Almost gets in the wall and taking out his teammate. The 07 keeps it straight. There was smoke ahead. And it could have been bad and getting
dude, you guys are so funny. The one's in dead against me is crazy. There's no way you're getting that on me,
side by
dude.
side.
I love you guys.
Jr. now under pressure to pull backwards, as well as Gavin Rogers is struggling right at this moment. we're starting to see a different surge of different drivers able to keep up with speed. But it's the 07. I'm concerned those tires are heated up. He's got some right side damage.
Yeah, you don't want to touch him.
But also try to defend as Nick Crawford, Brian Johnson are here to try to put pressure on the 07.
You might want to start thinking about getting in there and getting 4 fresh tires and regrouping, like you mentioned, getting back on that other strategy. It worked for him early in this race. So right now, maybe we'll see him enter the pits. We're definitely in the window where drivers comfortably pit right now and make it to the end, I would think. So maybe we might have an issue right here. This looked like the 74 machine. He went way down the block. Not sure if he's setting up the pit.
I think it might have just gotten loose. The pit road is calling. Right to welcome the first driver in the pit road, and he is inside the window. You can make it from here. And I think that's a great audible call after that mishap. Okay, we're in the window. Maybe it's too soon for his liking. Maybe this isn't a race-winning move, but this is a race-saving move to put you in a position to try to recover at least. Because a lot of other drivers, I think, we could be expecting pit stops in the next 10 to 15 laps. And this is the advantage. The 07 really gained a lot of that time back.
But yeah, the 07, he'll be hoping for is go out, run 10 laps, like you said, and he's going to hope that he's able to run faster than the leaders, gain all that time back that he lost with that incident right there, and then get the lead. And then if a caution does come out, everyone most likely would be pitting again just because they would have laps on their tires and they would have the extra sets to use towards the end of this race. And he's hoping that maybe he'll cycle back to the front, but he's going to need some luck with the cautions.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw him get loose, and then I got
a little bit of luck as a couple of drivers really struggling. I saw Cody Reed as well as Ollie Fonseca ducking extremely low. Both struggling on finding pace to stay ahead as they're starting to feel the wear and tear on tires, and they're just 19 laps in. This is kind of an odd spill that we're seeing these drivers dealing with as the handling is falling away. And, you know, another attributed factor could be the fact that these drivers, they're racing a little bit faster than they were earlier in the race.
Car in front is Greedy, 29, and their rating is 3.8.
And the 3 of Ryan Kelly going to be side by side with one another. This is for 16th place, but up front, our top 3 on top of one another, and it's been sliding back and forth between Drew Jua and Vincent Sora. Back to the point of starting.
I did the lap that I about wrecked, so I think I'm done with it.
The fact that these drivers are running faster because of the weather, I'm curious if maybe that's the factor that these drivers are dealing with. Maybe the weather's hurting them, or they all have the strategy of let's push aggressively now because we're going to
no shifting.
Ideally, I think what you said, a combination of both right there. These drivers are probably thinking, we don't need to run 40 laps on this set of tires, maybe 30 and 30 and split it. And then they're probably knowing that they at least have a little bit of less laps so they can push a little harder. But I tell you what,
on the low side,
I think you might have the driver to beat right now. That number 4 place car, Zach Hall, is absolutely fast.
Got a car inside.
He's been passing cars all night tonight. He hasn't had a chance to really save the tires. He's been always having to work past
clear on the inside.
He is fast.
I mean, that's the one positive. If we can start further on that.
Man, I need tires.
The car and its tendencies in traffic. It enables you to know, okay, I'm this close to the car ahead of me. Now I need to adjust my car passes as more drivers are entering pit road. Brian McCann going to be in 23rd and falling. He's entering pit road. That'll be exiting soon. Also saw Christopher Norris exiting pit road now, and also Nick Crawford is exiting pit road. A few drivers making that call to Zach Hall. He's running 3 to 4 tenths faster than our top 3.
Yeah, I'll be good.
They're battling back and forth. Zach is catching up, and the track temp, they just dropped another degree. It's picking up speed once again.
The track is cooling down, the speeds are getting faster. The drivers that adapt to the changing weather are going to be the drivers that are going to find themselves in the top positions. And right now, our top 5, they're all gaining on the leader of the Larry Yingling, who we thought at one point might be the driver to beat, but maybe with this changing track, it's starting to...
I don't want to let that idiot back around me.
He's up to 6th position now. We were just talking about him back there in 8th a little bit a while ago. Now he's up to 6th.
And we hop on board with 75 and Gavin Rogers, who has seen these battling of our top 4 in front of him as he's closing in. And this is that, you know, driving abilities. Some drivers have the talent to race a car that's in this bad of shape. And you're seeing Gavin Rogers, he's turning right more than he's turning left through a corner. This is incredible handling these drivers are dealing with. And it's not just the 75. This is everyone on track that's dealing with this handling of this vehicle.
Yeah, he's really showing you how he's able to get the car to turn and then turn back to the right. these cars seem to always be so tight, but he's got it figured out where he's able to get a little bit of looseness built into it. You can hear the tires squealing, but he's probably thinking right now, I'm going to run these tires for about 5 more laps, get to lap 70, and then have another 30 to go for the final one. As we get on board right here with Zach Hall, just talking about, he's shifting as well. Seems like these drivers are all now utilizing that shifting.
Utilizing it to try to keep pace as much as they can. More drivers further up.
Last lap time was at 54.60.
Currently, Carl Pooler's 1 lap down, Christopher Moore's 1 lap down. They're going to be trying to maybe unlap themselves or wait for leaders to make their pit stop. But there's Zach Hall counter steering as well, driving to that right side off the exit of the corner as they're throttling up. Now we'll give a chance to see what third place runner of Vincent Sora's hands look like through 3 and 4. And this is just giving us a good picture of what everyone's hands look like. And for Vincent Sora, I was about to say, that thing looked like it was on rails snug. And he's doing a great job at this moment.
Definitely looks smooth. See, right there he gets a little loose coming out of the corner. Counter steer, but he's going to have a big run, it looks like, right here. From over to trouble. It was Larry England gets into the wall, now going to be given a chance. You see in the mirror, was thinking about popping out.
The guy in front is leading 29. Their rating is
stay
3.8.
in line.
You've just
also
done
want to give a shout out to Eric Anderson out in chat from the Doghouse Racing League. Always great. We're going to be coming back with the Doghouse Racing League later on in next month as they're getting prepared for their winter season. So their top 4 about to be top 5, all within a second of one another. And just even with the minimal mistake that Larry England had, thought that was enough to give an opening for Drew Jua. Jua decides to stay in line, and maybe it's a decision to continue to stay in line, save a little bit more of extra fuel so you can stay out just in case a caution flag lines later on.
Next car is
I think these drivers up front,
their rating is
worried about this.
You're inside clear.
Giving up that track position, and then if the caution does come out,
Finally
anyway,
got him
cycle
here.
can happen. As we say that though, if he's going to peek down to the inside, he's going to make the move here. He's got the position. He's going to drive it down into turn 1. Larry England going to try and fight back on the outside. Is he going to be able to do it? The 13 or 77, and we know he's got that wrong number, but he's got the speed down. That's all that matters right now. He's going to clear him coming out of the corner. And now Larry England's not going to have that clean air. He's going to have to instantly adjust to how the car's going to drive different.
And now it's a beautiful pass from Drew Jua, but Larry England gets the better run off the exit. He'll fight right on back, giving a chance now for Vincent Sora. Who does he want to align with? That's Drew Jua on the outside. It's side by side, and you got to give kudos to these drivers. They're running on 25 lap old tires. There is no grip left on these machines with how hot the track's been, how long this green flag run's been. I am shocked on how well they're able to continue to stay side by side, but Yingling's in trouble. He's been dominating this run.
You look like you're having a lot of fun.
Pit road further on back, and now it's the 2 drivers that have been most scared of if they get the lead, they're going to drive away. It's Vincent Sora, gets into Drew Jua, and Zach Hall has to back up for a quick second. Everyone squeezes in this accordion effect. We got over 6, 7, 8 drivers in line within a second and a half, and just one little mistake up front almost caused all of them to run into one another.
The interesting thing is going to be there's a lap car on fresh tires who's got grip, who's going to be right here trying to get around these guys. You can see him out there.
I think this was the first time in history that they got wrecked for lap and there wasn't a yellow. It's impressive.
That's going to be interesting. Just a lap car working through these guys. Hold your racing side by side on old tires, Sam.
Yeah, and how many big moves are you willing to take? If you're a lap car, you're side by side for the lead. Vincent Sora, Drew Jua, they'll stay side by side. 2 wide for now. A little bit of a puff of smoke further on ahead. I believe it was from drivers sliding into their box, but it's going to be continued to be side by side. Zach Hall gives the advantage to Vincent Sora down into turn number 1, trying to give a bump, but you see the 38. That's the Patrick SpongeBob machine trying to figure out where does he go. Fresh rubber for their 38. He's got a 20 lap advantage. 1 lap down. He has to get his lap back before a yellow flag comes out. But will Norris just help Zach Hall, his teammate, or will he try to make a big move? It looks like he's helping the 32. Hall dives down low, taking 2 for 1 into the backstretch. Hall dives it down low, but not able to hold the line. but Christopher Norris trying
You're gonna
to
have to bring me
continue
down
to
soon,
follow
dude.
Zach Hall and kind of be the drafting buddy on the straightaways.
Wow, all that has happened. The 67 there, he's supposed to go in and get those fresh tires. Zach Hall gets a big run coming out of the corner to 77, got a little loose coming out. They're just going to put him side by side, and like you said, the Norris machine going to go with Zach Hall. Trying to give him that boost down the straightaway. They're going to go off side by side.
Oh, what save from Drew Jua. Norris into the outside wall. We stay green.
I thought, why
But
not?
Drew Jua had to save that machine completely. It was almost completely 45 degrees sideways. Hits it straight, locks it up in the lap car. It doesn't just help with bump drafting, but accidentally give a tap. It looked like to Drew Jua in that 13.
Wow, as you see right here, we're going to see this replay.
Go, go.
I'm saying that this Drew Jua's got to be really frustrated right there with that. I don't know exactly what happened, but if
Here's
it was
the replay. And we're going to see side by side. Christopher Norris trying to stay in line with his teammate. Just too much speed. Clips into Drew Jua on the 13 and just maybe missed his braking. I don't know what happened, but I got to give kudos on the fact that Drew Jua was able to keep that thing pointed straight because he easily could have overcorrected and sent it into the outside wall. But more drivers having issues on pit road. It's the 4 machine. Justin Forbes having issues on his entry, and Drew Jua overshoots his pit stall. He has to back up. That's another mistake that these drivers could be making on pit road. If you overshoot your pit stall, that is a lot of time. That is critical. You cannot lose at this moment.
A lot of time. I mean, easily a second and a half there, but out on track, that's a lot of time, positions potentially. But right now, Zach Hall, he's having no problem out there. He's going to continue to run this race. It seems like the car's working great for him. He doesn't want to go into pits yet. He's going to have really good tires.
61, and their rating is
fun to watch to see if he can run down these drivers.
No, I was just saying,
as I say
that was a bad time
so
to try to pit, but there was somebody wrecking on the
Teammates from Snow Desert Racing going to go into pit road because he's locking up those tires, trying to slow down. They're going about 150 through the corners, and when they exit, they're going to slow down to 55 miles per hour for pit road speed, and they're able to do so, giving the lead to Edward Sherwood Jr. to be able to lead that lap
by the way,
for
everyone's
himself.
behind me.
We'll stay on board Zach Hall again. He was battling for that lead position. Will he make the same mistake? We saw Drew Jua slide through his box. Has to do a little an extra lockup. Cedric Hunter has to back up in the 13. Hall did not, so the advantage should be going to Hall here, but it's looking like it's going to be close between these drivers on which moves you're going to want to make here.
And it'll be interesting that when we come out, how this all cycles through. Larry Ying was one of the first cars to pit. He's going to have a lead, but will these drivers on 1 or 2 lap newer tires, will they be able to run these guys down? Or are we going to set ourselves up where we're going to have 5 or 6 of them under a blanket again for the final 2 laps if this stays green? I would think Zach Hall is going to have those fresh tires. He had a really long run. It could be really fun watching him battle back, but will they be able to catch the guys that pitted early?
And that's now going to be getting to the lead. Cody Reed leads that lap. He'll be getting the bonus point. Also, Shane Tarian staying out. We got a couple of drivers still out on track. That's Cody Reed, Shane Tarian, Tyler Dangler still yet to make their final pit stop of the night. Those that have already pitted, Nick Crawford, Brian Noel, and Larry Yingling are currently your lead drivers, and Nick Crawford has mounted up a pretty good lead. He's got over 6 seconds over Larry Yingling, who's going to have to run down that 74 machine before the end of this race. And for Nick Crawford, strategy calls. It's been ways that he's found himself
There's some people
having
that stayed
good
out
finishes at the end of the day.
Earlier.
And in other leagues that we've covered, we'll see if it works out for the 74 so far, as the drivers that have made pit stops, Trent jumps
what up, Jesse?
Road as we wait and see how the front runners closing in on 25 laps to go. I mean, Justin, this race has been incredible.
How you doing tonight, brother?
We saw the close racing action at the end of stage 1.
Full course caution.
Okay.
And this is it now. A lot of these drivers have made their bed, they made their pit
dude.
stops, and if you stayed out longer, you have a lot of
Did that
work,
just
but
screw
take it
us?
away. Caution flag is out.
Lap.
Trouble.
Pit.
Drew Jua.
Yeah, Cody Reed's behind us.
On the back stretch.
Okay, good.
77 of Drew
That
Jua.
would fucking suck.
3 times right there. We saw the incident
earlier,
oh yeah,
and then the one before he was almost involved in the accident, and unfortunately right now he is
Sucks,
involved
I wish
in
we
the
would have stayed out
accident.
longer.
I mean, his race went from looking like he had a race-winning car to unfortunately just multiple incidents. We'll see what happens right here.
I don't know what happened.
I feel like I could have, but man, I was losing a lot of
2
time.
drivers
I know,
looked to
too.
be
I got a bunch of spots early and it ended up costing me.
I don't know if
And
he
you just
lost.
never know if you're gonna get a caution.
I don't know
either,
what the
so it
heck
sucks.
happened here.
Yeah, it's like almost as if he lost steering input? I mean, it just seems like the car kind of...
Usually when you lose the steering input, it snaps to one direction, just like faded up. I know that we have Lucky Ducks out there in chat. I wonder if you have any idea of what happened. I know so Drew is also out there. We are confused on what just happened to the 77 to bring out this yellow. Like it just died on the exit of turn 2.
It would be awesome.
Yeah, it's maybe like a black screen potentially happened on the monitor, and it just seemed really weird how everything just kind of...
And it is confirmed in chat.
I just got a bunch early.
His screen
it ended up costing me.
That's what happened.
Also, I think the shifting is what was hurting my.
Luckily, no one else was involved, but that is such an unfortunate situation.
Pace car is going to be in between 3 and 4.
Unfortunately, you spun on your
Problem
tires.
was
And a lot of different drivers also having issues as well. Christopher Wade and Shane Terrian both being dropped out of the section at the same time. So multiple drivers having issues that way.
Drew Jua just died on the back in the race now.
A blown tire or maybe a loose lug
He
nut
got the
tire
cone
coming off.
glitch.
That's what we could chalk that up to. One of those random events.
Cone glitch?
Not ideal for Drew Jua, but
Yeah, where
what a race
if
for
you
him.
hit the cone, it covers your whole screen, basically. You can't see shit, and plus the screen froze at the same time.
Race in the top 5, even battle for the lead multiple times. He's having himself a great race, and unfortunately going to all come
Question
end
is,
tonight.
should we pit it all?
Yeah, it is 3 drivers immediately at the time
I'm not
of
going
Drew
to
Jua
pick.
locking up
I
and
ran like 2
freezing.
laps.
It
I
was
ran
3 drivers.
so
It was Drew Jua himself, Christopher Wade, Shane
I
Terrian, all
think track
dropping
position
out
is
with
way more
packet
important
loss,
here.
looking like their iRacing just froze up on them. And I know in the last couple of weeks, it was either last week or the week prior, iRacing was having DDoSing issues where servers would completely crash and multiple drivers would be kicked out before. We've seen this in the past. Curious, and maybe that just happened here, but it was instead of a large pool, it was just a handful of drivers that were knocked down. I know there's also been bad weather that's been hitting a lot of people.
Pretty crazy.
Again, we'll wait and see on official confirmation, but we do know for Drew at least, it froze up. That is so unfortunate for himself.
We hate to see that.
What track were you guys at?
Any driver, especially a driver who had a chance for victory, never ideal for them, especially the competitors. They obviously want to go out there and race against everyone fairly, but I tell you, that's part of racing, part of how iRacing goes down, and we kind of chalk it up to the equivalent of a blown tire, misfortune, blown engine. But Nick Crawford right now, the leader, you talked about his strategy play. I mean, these guys who pitted, did they stay out? I mean, some of these guys have 4 or 5 laps on their tires. I mean, yeah, track position is important, but you don't want to give it all up.
Finish
do you want over tire, Sam?
Honestly, be pretty good.
I mean, it's a tough call, but a few drivers are deciding to stay out. Nick Crawford, 14 lap old tires.
Yeah.
And looks like majority of the field just opting to stay out. I'm not surprised by that. Again, we saw the similar thing happen during the middle of stage 1. We had a caution on lap 6. Is the fact that they only had 6 laps of green flag tires.
Pace cars out.
They were running pretty similar lap times to their fastest laps, and they were able to keep speed. So only a few able to come in a bit early, get service done. That is from 20th all the way down to 25th.
Don't hit the cone.
Done, being Brian
People
McKay, Tyler Dangler, Carl Cooler, Jerry Hughes, and Richard Wolsifer be getting tires and fuel for themselves. The oldest set of tires of those that are on the lead lap is Nick Crawford leading this race. Everyone else is off by about 2 to 3 tires.
Did the cone thing happen?
How is the 61 still in front of us? I feel like we passed him like
the 3 or 4 of us
Well,
at least
he was fucking
someone hit the
some
cone.
racing me aggressively on that last
finish
run.
here.
Door shit out of it.
I had the exact same thing happen to me in Nashville.
Two laps down,
where like the cone, I couldn't see fuck all, and then like half the server, everybody crashed out, and it was like at the very end of practice, so it didn't have an effect. But yeah, I mean, I
Yeah, I don't even think I have that truck myself.
But for now,
a month or 2,
you're gonna have to just
I would have
cross your
assumed that they would have
fingers,
fixed
hope for
it,
some
but
luck. As
obviously
Nick
they're too
Crawford,
focused on
ready for
extra
this
cross or
restart.
whatever.
Justin, this caution, we knew it was
I remember last
possible.
season
Really
when
changed
I
things
laps
here.
here.
And in a blink of an eye, it's reset who's up front inside of our top 10 because a lot of our quote-unquote favorites are now outside of the top 5.
I just suck in general, brother.
It's going to give us a really exciting restart. The 74 is going to control the restart. You'll be able to go before anyone else. He is on 14 lap older tires, like you said. Now some of these guys behind him are maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lap tires. So at least got heat in them. But it will be interesting. Is the 74 going to have the grip to go in first or second gear without spinning the tires and stacking up anything? The 51's going to have to be on high alert, obviously right behind them. I don't think there'll be any kind of issues with wheel spin, Sam, just because it is a flat track and they'll be able to get going on a straightaway versus something like Dover last week where you're almost coming out of a corner and on old tires restarting. But still, got to be mindful of the old tires in front of you.
See how this goes.
Got to be mindful completely all around. Looking back from Nick Crawford, you can see Vincent Sora, Gap Rogers.
Let me know when they're all rolling.
Yingling, those three we know can be fast. Zach Hull is 3 cars back.
You talking to me?
Quick.
No,
for everyone else, they are getting prepared to take the and get ready to get back to racing action with 21 laps to go. As it looks like Drew Jua again with the damage. His race is over. Unfortunate for the 77 that was looking strong.
Green flag, we're racing.
Pace car pulls off into pit road. It's time for us to have 20-lap shootout at Indianapolis. We got a sense of what 20 laps could be like for our stage at the start of the race. Now for a 20-lap shootout at the end. Nick Crawford's gone. He's got a decent launch. It's now going to be side by side for second place down into turn number 1.
Down into turn 1, you see Nick Crawford ready coming out of the screen to the camera. He's got that lead. The guys behind him, they're side by side. That's what he wants to see. 20 laps to go. Will he be able to hold these drivers off?
You're clear outside.
Sora's still trying to battle out to see who's going to be the first car to be able to have a chance at Nick Crawford as they go down this long back straightaway.
And Crawford now is sitting up, getting down to turn number 3 as Larry Yingling trying to slot his way to the inside of the red 67. Able to find an opening and will dive it down low. Crawford, just not enough speed. He's kind of holding back out Rogers. Rogers really has nowhere to go. He's boxed in on the outside. It's Sora, Johnson, and Hall looking to try to conveyor belt the 75 backwards as well as the 74 and the 71. As they continue to race forward, it's Yingling taking the lead. And for Larry Yingling, he's only got a lap older tires than the likes of Vincent Sora. And you look at everyone else that's in our front pack, it's actually Zach Hall, who's got some of the freshest tires, and Edward Sherwood Jr. Those are going to be the 2 to watch out for is Ken Campbell. And it looks like John Flor's getting close with one another. As no, Nick Crawford almost at the outside wall. They have to scatter for now. 3, 4 wide, trying to push forward. And they will almost be 4 wide down in turn number 3. This shouldn't work. They're going to test it though. 3 wide, it's stacked 4 wide. They squeeze it down to 2. And they somehow hold on together. Kelly on the outside. Rogers still pinched in the middle. Ooh, they somehow keep pushing forward, and we stay green with 20. About to be 19 laps to go.
These 39 drivers are showing the WSSR league is easy. Being able to race like that, going off into the corner, making almost slight contact, but nothing near causing anyone to wreck into each other. Plenty of speed, plenty of room, excuse me. That was absolutely really fun racing to watch right there. I mean, you don't see that kind of racing in Indy very often, and they put on a great show right there. You have to give a huge shout out to those drivers.
Still there.
Oh, and Crawford's handling's gone. You saw that big wiggle off the exit. It's going to kill all the momentum on the outside. Everyone dropping low, trying to utilize that advantage. The trap pulling Nick Crawford forward with Bronson Stafford. Stafford trying to get a top 15 finish. It's been a rough couple of weeks for himself in the 61. This could be a positive that he can roll off of moving forward in the rest of the season, as we still have ourselves 3 more races after this before the regular season is over. And this is crunch time as for Larry and a few others. A win is so crucial as Crawford continues to hold back so many drivers as they get to the corner that it hurts. For the driver of all, watch out for Zach Hall, fastest lap. He's a second away from our leader of Yingling, and he's got the freshest of tires of anyone inside of our top 5.
And he's right there.
Just missed the corner.
Had a great recovery from that pit stop. Just into the box and lost some track time up to 3rd position. But that's Zach Hall machine. Like you said, he's got the tire advantage. We know he has an extremely fast car in the long run. Under 18 laps to go. Is he going to be able to get it done and get up there? First, he's got to get around this machine.
What is going on with this outside lane?
And run down those 2 in front.
Hold your line.
Point that we keep on bringing up. How has the weather been changing throughout out tonight.
I'm sorry,
down
Johnson.
to 177 degrees Fahrenheit is the track temp. Air temp stayed the same. But at one moment here this evening, the track temp was up to 130 degrees. It was flaming hot. It's still very warm. These drivers are feeling that sensation still losing away. This Hornet Stats got still got to be careful. A lot of drivers are involved with wrecks. A lot here tonight, mixed and mingled in this group. You've had the limitless drivers of Carl Pooler, also Richard Wolsifer, that 56 of Wolsifer, still looking out of control at moments. Also Nick Crawford on the outside, continuing to fade back. And Dakota Moniz, unfortunately for the 5, he hasn't been able to find an opening to drop down low. Chintarian, the part of the group that all froze up between 9 to 77 in the 53. Chintarian's the only one that's been able to return 2 laps down. He needs cautions badly. He needs the cluster that's in front of him, that's behind them, bring out a couple of wrecks. They are not doing so just yet. They continue to stay green for now.
Left and right. Outside.
Right here, we're on board. Cedric Hunter there. Kind of want to join those drivers we were talking. He's going to try and make the 3 wide coming out of his corner. Is he going to get one? No, I thought he was going to get 2 there, but he got 1 car at least. He's able to get around Gavin Rogers. Now he's going to try and pull
56
out there.
races like a dumbass.
He's going to pull right up in front of the 75.
Kelly,
56.
Kelly
Just
gets a little bit
about
zapped
fucking
and
wrecked me.
squeezed, trying to put that back bumper in front of the 71 of Edward Sherwood Jr. Kept his foot in it, almost cleaned out the 3. Woo, and Sherwood, there's a, you can see a little bit of that front end damage. He's not happy about that move at all. I wouldn't be happy either. This late in a run, it's hard to play nice with those big slashing moves.
I'm going all out, man.
Closing and trying to fit his vehicle where there is no space.
No space, but these drivers know with 16 laps to go, they got to make every position matter. Every run they got to take. See right here, Ryan Kelly going to duck out again under the 75, who is now fading just slightly. He was one of those drivers running in the top 4 all throughout the night, now getting in that back half of the top 10. Ryan Kelly is still going to try and make the move, not able to do it, but all this action going on. You see the 3 get a little loose coming out of the corner. That's going to break his momentum.
You're on the low side going 3 wide.
Right there to 15, you see him, Campbell. Just having a great, quiet, clean night.
Still there.
Talk about him. We always mention how he's just
clear on the high side.
Quiet driver. Doesn't put himself in bad positions, but seems to continuously have top 10
Hold
speed.
that line.
Right now, running in 5th position. Sam having a great night. Might lose 5th though.
Still there.
6th, but still. Just having a great solid night.
Still there.
Hey, I mean, we've talked about it all throughout the season. Ultra commentators curse who say, hey, the driver's running well, and they get struck with bad luck. Ken Campbell has been one of the heavy hitters. There's been a few other drivers as well that have talked about them. Bad luck strikes, and Campbell's one of those that I try to avoid now with how bad of luck he's had for majority of the middle of the regular season.
And I'll give you credit,
to find some type of semblance of a decent finish, or at least finish a race at times here recently. And at this moment, trying to hold steady, but we have to bounce up to the lead pack. This is great racing action for 5th. Before the lead, Yingling's been passed. Now it's going to be Vincent Sora taking the top spot, and his teammate Brian P. Johnson following in suit. Yingling doesn't want to give up. They'll stay to fight side by side. This group before, technically under 3 different racing teams with the WSSR. You leave WSSR, their teammates under Cat 5 Esports. And so they know each other's tendencies. They know how to be aggressive around one another. And you saw there, willing to bump and run and get each other out of the way. And it's also willing to give a little bit more extra space to one another. Extra moves. And now the 51 of Vincent Sora is up into the lead position. And the one driver I would be concerned about, Zach Hall, is now up to 3rd.
Up to 3rd. We're at a really great speed. The 67 coming out of that previous corner when he had the lead, and then the contact, you saw how shaky the car got coming out of turn 4. Did a great job saving it. Brian Johnson did a wonderful job as well. Right now, Johnson will try to set his sights on the 51 of Vincent Sora, but Zach Hall, they got to deal with it. I mean, we know Larry, he pitted a lap before, or majority of these guys 2 or 3 laps before Zach Hall. You see the difference. I mean, it's starting to show now. 13 laps to go, just having that little bit of extra speed able to carry into the corner. Do I have a bumper, Nick? Right now, I would think Zach Hall's got to be in those drivers' minds. They know he's got a little bit of pressure grip
in this session.
Talking about some drivers having a quiet night. Ken Campbell trying to go for a top 5 finish. One driver's going for a top 10 finish. Is going to be back in 11th place. Joshua Kanata, who's trying to have a good run. He's trying to set up to get by John Forbes Jr. in the 11 machine, which we've seen John Forbes. He was a pinball, just like Cedric Hunter, a couple of times here tonight. 16 of Josh Canada. Kind of talked to him before this race. He's talked to the fact of how his season's been going. He's said, hey, I've been quiet. I've been keeping my nose out of trouble, and that's been the key, and that might be the key of getting me into the playoffs. I don't know if that's will translate to a championship, but here tonight, continuing to keep that nose out of trouble, and about 15 finishes can get you into that spot to fight for a chance for a championship and into the playoffs. But up front, a little bit of trouble happening for Brian P. Johnson, gives him an opening for Zach Hall. Hall going to be able to slot himself into second. Yingling trying to follow his way through. And the 67-28, they made contact the last time that they were trying to get around one another. They stay steady for now, as Hall's now up to second. And now it's Hall's turn. Can he run down Vincent Sora in the 51? There's been a long history throughout the last, I think back to season 4 or 5, the amount of time Zach Hall would be leading a race and Vincent Sora would run him down and make the pass late. Well, Hall's got 11, about to be 10 laps to go. If you want to win here at Indy, what a special one it could be. You have 10 laps to run down the kid that you've taught so many lessons to, that's kind of turned into the superstar of the league. Can you run him down? 7/10, 10 laps, Hall's on the charge.
Just in that lap of us watching him, it was 0.822. He's got it down to 0.733, so he did gain some time there. And as he gets closer, he's going to get that draft, going to get that toe, he's going to get that big run. He'll have to make sure he adjusts when he gets that big run. He'll be getting going a couple miles an hour faster into the corner, so definitely got to be mindful of that. But right here, we're on board. We're watching what he's doing. He's got it down to 0.633. He's going to get there, I think, Sam. The question is going to be, how do you pass? Very hard to pass. He's going to have to pull out at the right time, and I expect them to run side by side and battle hard for this win.
And if we look back to how this race started with Gavin Rogers, Larry Yingling being side by side, Yingling didn't, he tried to hold back Gavin Rogers so many times, but it was Rogers on the outside that actually led the lap at the end. You don't need to fully make the pass. You just have to make sure your nose crosses the line for the driver ahead of you to win this race. And Zach Hall knows that's all he has to do. Is just have a nose ahead. 4/10 the difference now with 9 seconds. And Vincent Sora, he's blinking aggressively. We are having troubles to follow where the 51 is at. We've already seen drivers freeze here this evening. I think that's more of a Vincent Sora mechanical issue, but the 51 is blinking so much, it's hard to tell where he's going to be at, or if he's even going to be able to stay stable to keep this lead position.
And it has to be a little frustrating for Zach Hall just following that and seeing the blinks, but more importantly, you want to use that draft, and if he blinks for a second, you don't know, is he getting ready to move down to the inside? You want to stay in that, blink that car as much as you can on the straightaways. You see right here, he's going to come out for this long straightaway, so will Vincent Sora pull down? He's going to stay up to the wall, and then now he does pull down a little bit. Zach Hall needs to know where he's going all the time, so he has a chance to follow him and utilize that draft. Get that toe. It's under a half a second. 8 laps to go. How many more laps before he gets to that bumper? Will he be able to get to it? Will he be able to make a move? You see right here, he's got a nice run.
And with the laps continuing to tick away, 8 laps to go. We've got 26 drivers on the lead lap. Kind of built out 5 different pods of groups of drivers out on course. We have our lead pack of drivers, which is our top 9. Then we have our second pack, which is 10 back to 17.
Help, I'm tighter than a French girl on phone
packs in between of drivers trying to make little moments and movements if they can. Here's GT Rosari, who we saw earlier slam into the outside wall. He was caught up in one of our earlier wrecks of the evening, and he might be getting a top 15 run with the way that he's driving here tonight, trying to catch up to the likes of Ollie Fonseca and Bronson Stafford. Here's our 4th pack out on course, being led by the likes of Anthony Gaudio, Carl Pooler, and Jared Hughes. They're all trying their best. This is the fight for inside of the top 20 as Carl Pooler tries to dive down underneath the 29. Not able to do so just yet, but his lead lap ticks away. Been watching the times. Zach Hall might have stalled out. We remember Hall earlier in this run, under this green flag conditions, put down the fastest lap of the day. Did the 32, Justin? I'm curious on your thoughts on it. Maybe he pushed a little bit too hard, too aggressively to be set up for this position to where he no longer has the tires to go for a marching pass.
Hey, you brought it up, and when I heard that he did set down the fastest lap, it was one of the first things I thought of, because I know that 32 just from watching so much in this league. He seems to be a driver that saves still there and comes on strong. And I was like,
Still there.
Pushed hard. I wonder if he's just got that mindset. I got to get in that track position. Did he push too hard? And you see right there, he just didn't get through that corner and stay in the bottom. So you know he's definitely used a car. I think he restarted 70. Obviously, he's up to second now, so you know he was passing people. Did he just use like slightly too much? I mean, he's getting draft right now, but it just seems like he stalled out. Like he got close enough that now he's going through the corner, dealing with that dirty air, and just not able to make the move on this. Or it's 6 laps to go. I mean, he can't stall out anymore. If he's going to save the tire and cool it off, he's got to do it quickly, and then give himself a chance to regroup.
I know also you were able to have a chance to run some other leagues running to the next gen car. How much of the dirty air this league will run? Both drivers are on 20-plus old tires. They're catching up to lap traffic. How much do you think that this may be influencing? Is Zach Paul, if he gets too close, is he maybe tightening up, and that's why he's missing the apex? Is that maybe what's going on here with that 32?
Yeah, I think that exactly is what happens. It seemed as the tires got older and hotter, and if you drove a little harder on them, when you entered a corner behind the car in front of you, you just didn't have the air on the car on the low side.
Every single time I get within 2/10 of someone, it just drives completely different.
Turn anymore. You get someone that back on straightaway with the draft, but eventually just normalize to the point where the corners are hurting you more than the draft on the straightaway was helping you, and especially Vincent Sora pulling down and trying to break that draft.
Still there.
It doesn't give Zach Haldy a chance to use all of it.
Still there.
Lap traffic might be helping Zach Hall. Trent jump very slow through the 3 and 4. It's now allowed Zach Hall to gain over almost a half a second. Hall's on the bumper. 4 laps to go. He's 2/10 back. This is the chance, and the diving moves. And it was Trent jump just getting in the way of Vincent Sora, maybe miscalculating where the 51 was going to be. But all that gap, all the built-up spacing that maybe was big enough to hold back Hall, it's gone, it's disappeared. This is clutch time. You cannot make a mistake if you're Vincent Sora or Zach Hall.
Oh, it's zigzagging on straightaway. You know what there goes the line. Potentially no. He's in his mind right now. Vincent Sora's looking up in his mirror. No, he's got to protect that. So right now, Zach Hall's doing what he has to do. But Sam, maybe what it was maybe he pushed for that lap or two, and he got such a big toe that he was going in the corner so fast that maybe that kind of threw off his entry speed. Right now,
here's a chance. Blocking move. Hall finally gets to the inside. He's to the quarter panel. A little bit of tap pushing up Vincent Sora. They'll be dead even at the line. Vincent Sora, Zach Hall, Hall to the inside. Sora's trying to give a pinch, not giving any type of opening. Hall's going to move up. They might door slam. Brian P. Johnson is waiting in the wings. He's hoping for a chance. Maybe calamity between his teammate and Zach Hall. Off the exit of the corner. Hall is fully cleared. Now it's his time to block. Back and forth with 3 laps to go.
Gonna block every way he can to 28. Thought he had a chance if those two rose side by side, they would be getting a huge run. But
dropping like a rock right now.
Make the pass. I mean, what can Vincent Sora do now? He's gonna book the bottom. He gets a great corner. Tries to get back on that speed. Is he gonna make a move here? Look at this. He's getting in the corner a little bit lower. He might have a run coming out.
Might have a run. Hall's going to be moving up. He'll try to block down to that pit wall. Hall's trying to go low. Sora decides to stay high. Now there will be an advantage in the draft as it's 2 laps to go. Brian P. Johnson in 3rd place has been the faster driver for the past 5 laps. He's been chipping away. The 28 isn't out of this race either. He's got a chance. He could try to send it. We've seen it a couple times here tonight. It might be a 3-wide pass to try to see who's going to be taking this win. Hall has a lap and a half to go. Goes down the inside, snaking high, snaking low. Now trying to go up to the wall, holding back Vincent Sora, who has the draft. And this is it, to the end. There is only going to be just a handful of chances now for Vincent Sora to take this win back. But for Zach Hall, cannot make a mistake. Slight wiggle there off the exit of turn 3, off of 4. They're going to be in line, your top 3, within 3/10 of one another. White flag in hand. This race is official. Zach Hall has to hold back the Nightmare Fuel teammates. Here we go, Justin, down in turn number 1 for your Freaky Fast white flag.
White flag. Zach Hall is going to try and do everything he can. Got to get a good exit. It's going to be really important. This back straightaway, got to hit this corner. Can't get this out of this corner. No twitching for Zach Hall fans. But Vincent Sora, look at this. He gets down right down to that curb. He's going to carry all the speed he can. Zach Hall is going to try and block that air, but he's going to have a big run coming off down here into turn 3. Is he going to make a move?
Zach Hall, he's trying to still make the same move that he did last time. He's able to give at least a little bit of a buffer, but Sora has to go down a little bit deeper. Too deep, he had to back out. He's holding back Johnson. Johnson going to the bats for second. Zach Hall just hit your marks. He had a penalty for ARCA braking last week. Had to go all the way to the end of the line at 39th position. He worked all night working for a chance for this moment. Zach Hall will win the Indianapolis 250 for race number 9 of the season.
It's Morris second place and Brian P. Johnson third. What a win from last to the first. I mean, this guy's 3 weeks in a row.
56 races like a jackass. 07 races like a jackass.
I appreciate it, man. That's a good finish for me in this league.
Has to be
really
thrilled
good
to get this victory tonight. Absolutely thrilled. What a performance he put on, and he just had speed all night. Just kept picking it away.
2 weeks ago, winner of the main event at the Daytona Road Course.
I don't think I've ever been dorked so many times in a race.
Indianapolis winner, Zach Hall. His crown jewel races, the races that he cared about the most. He finds himself with the win. Congratulations to the 32 of Hall, and this has got to be feeling so rewarding, knowing that it was Vincent
Fucking
Sora.
23rd, because 07 is a jackass and 56 sucks at racing.
So many times in the past, Hall would be that other driver leading and losing the race.
Fucking so sick of this shit. This is a waste of my fucking time every fucking week,
all
dude.
the times in season 5, season 6, running against Vincent Sora, but here tonight, Zach Hall is a winner, and guess what, Justin? He is now tied as the most
07
winningest
sucks ass. He
driver
can
so
go
far
fuck
this
himself.
season,
56 blows
joining
dick.
the ranks of Gavin Rogers and Vincent Sora with 2 wins.
Oh, no wonder the front of my fucking car had nose damage somehow.
Hall, while making a point, he's a driver that has a chance for a championship for here in season 9. Zach Hall, enjoy this one. When we come back, we'll talk to the 32 of Zach Hall, Vincent Sora, Brian P. Johnson, and a spotlight driver right after this.
My hand.
I had a bit of optionals, and I had.
I'm back, and you get an early caution. You got to start thinking: are you going to go in, get some of that fuel, so maybe you can do a shorter stop later? We're not thinking tires are going to be the most important thing. I would think all drivers definitely change them under caution, but
23rd, 25th, 20th.
I don't know. I don't know if people will be taking any, maybe just 2. I don't think people are going to want to sit there and take all 4, but I don't know. By the time you fill that fuel up, maybe they're going to get 2 or 4.
All right, later, man.
It's definitely going to be all different kinds of strategy, but if you're starting in the back, you got to start running this race in reverse, trying to figure out how exactly you can get to that front.
23rd.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of thinking points after the stage is over. First stage again, going to be our first 20 laps. Top 10 drivers get bonus points. A lot of drivers want to make sure they're up front for that run.